Yeah.
That's the
We're sponsored.
the Patreon content is actually a Let's Play Achievement Hunter style video of us playing Counter-Strike.
There we go. That's what the people
It's
want
not.
to see.
No, it is. What are you talking
No,
about?
it's not.
Counter-Strike is the new AAA shooter that's defining a generation of online gamers.
Well, it might be defining a generation of online
The
gamers
question
that
is
night.
which generation? Because if it's boomers, I don't know if that has the cultural influence that...
Boomers have boomer shooters. That's already a genre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a
Doom,
boomer
the
shooter.
original Doom is a boomer shooter.
And by that, I mean that you go around murdering boomers.
Was Doom the first FPS?
That's a huge accusation.
I don't know if Doom was technically the first FPS, but it was definitely the first popular computer FPS.
And it was like
I can put it on your
revolutionary
fridge.
when they made it like you could play online essentially.
I mean, you could play it on your fridge.
Do you remember
true.
the hit top-down shooter game Pong?
So the first FPS game technically was a game called Maze War.
Oh.
Maze War was made in 1973. It was made in a NASA work-study program on computer software development.
Thus connecting NASA to all future shooting incidents in the minds of every conspiracy theorist. You know NASA invented the idea of a shooter, right?
Wow. And then there was a bunch of like really like that game never was popular. There was a bunch of other games that were not very popular, but then
I should get a drink.
Wolfenstein 3D was like the first somewhat
Oh,
popular
that's
shooter
right.
game. And then obviously the same people who made Wolfenstein 3D eventually made Doom.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to be back. I'm going to grab a drink.
I know Doom was cutting edge for its time.
Yeah.
That's
It was
'cause it was
also
doing
one of the
stuff.
first to like have like gore
Yeah.
and stuff. And the parents were freaking out.
Look where we are today.
Yeah. And then Star Wars Dark Forces after Doom was another popular boomer shooter.
Huh.
Let's see. I'm just scrolling through. And then obviously Duke Nukem 3D is another big one. Then Bungie made the Marathon trilogy. Those are all considered boomer shooters. And then
Imagine
Let's see
Bungie
here.
making anything besides Halo.
well, they make Destiny.
No, they don't. There's no such thing as Destiny. That's not a game.
This is true. Quake, another sort of boomer shooter, although at this point it's getting into like 3D arena shooters.
Yeah.
And then obviously GoldenEye 007 was a big 3D one.
The 007
Dark.
games were really fun.
I really liked
Yeah,
Agent Under
yeah.
Fire.
I liked it's not actually very good, but as a kid I played 007 Legends, which was a fun one.
I don't think I tried that one.
That one came out around the same time as like Casino Royale, but it the gimmick of the campaign for it was it went back and adapted different older 007 movies, but as if they were taking place in the modern day and with Daniel Craig as Bond.
Okay.
So it did like GoldenEye, but what if it took place in 2006 and Daniel Craig was James Bond? Stuff like that. Let's see, Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, the first one was big in the late 90s. Medal of Honor, Half-Life, the first Half-Life.
When did the first Halo come out?
2001?
2001. And 2001, Halo was the first FPS to like have the modern control scheme.
Yeah.
With like twin stick controls, one for moving and one for camera and aiming.
Was
and a
Call
lot
of
of
Duty
people-
the same time?
Call of Duty was, I think, after Halo 2 even. I think Call of Duty was like 2005.
Yeah.
You ever forget the Alamo?
No.
I've played a concert at the Alamo when I was in band.
Oh, nice.
I just remember it.
It's a thing that happened.
Call of Duty. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking at these the timeline of first-person shooters.
Just looking at the timeline.
Call of Duty original release date is gonna 2003. So Call of
Okay.
Duty, first Call of Duty was after Halo 1, and also Call of Duty didn't get like insane acclaim and popularity until the first Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I do know that. Because
that
it
was
was
2007.
mainly like just a campaign. Like it didn't have any online stuff for a little bit. The
Yeah.
first few.
Well, and at first, Medal of Honor was big before Call of Duty was big.
Yeah,
Like they
that
kind
is
of
true.
took the crown from Medal of Honor.
For
Then
like
you also have,
military
like,
shooters.
Yeah.
The Counter-Strike for the PC people.
Yeah, which that was kind of started by original Rainbow Six, and then Counter-Strike really took that over.
You guys wouldn't believe what I just had happen to me.
Did
Oh,
you die?
man.
I just saw a double of me. I had to fight him off in the kitchen, and then he ran off.
So which
That's
which
crazy.
one of you won, the original or the double?
We'll never know.
Yeah, how will we know? They're not gonna know. How will they know?
I'm the original, obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
Have any of you guys watched the show Invincible
Yes.
on Amazon?
Yeah.
Where the twins,
Yes.
they always are arguing over who's the original and who's the clone.
Yep. It's so
No.
funny.
I don't know that bit.
Oh.
Can you explain it to me?
Well,
No.
there's these bad guys. They have blue skin and they're large. They're big, muscular guys. They're also just geniuses. And everyone calls them the twins, but really they're clones of each other. But they don't even know who's the original and who's the clone.
What if they're both
there you go.
clones?
Well, that's the thing. It's a distinct possibility because in the show you watch one of them die and then the other one make a new clone.
That's insane.
Yeah,
If only I could
that's
watch
not a major
that.
spoiler.
Where could
It's
I
on
find
it.
that?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. It's just a good show.
This is where we put our
I'm like-
sponsor. If we had one.
I'm just starting season 2 and I'm enjoying it.
Season 2 of not having a sponsor.
Yeah,
Get
that's true. This is
Get
campaign
got
2 of not
us.
having a sponsor.
I know. We're a Nemmy award-winning campaign and we don't have a sponsor.
Yeah.
That's pretty disgusting, if you ask me.
Sad, really.
I like my favorite bit is pretending we have one.
Well, we've ruined that bit just now.
Mike, I want to say it looked like you just flashbanged yourself. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh no!
What if the Nemmys are our sponsor?
Sponsored by a random award show
That we made up.
that we made up.
Got him.
That's how you can tell we're official.
It doesn't get any better than
yeah.
that.
It's kind of like a shell company, right? We make up something. Mike, I can't help it. All I see is a flashbang every time you do that.
For those
'Cause
of
it
you
takes-
who might be listening at home and very confused, Mike is switching tabs on his screen, and every now and then he opens a tab that's not in dark mode, and his whole world just goes nuclear on his webcam.
Excuse me for trying to share the stream.
Wow.
Feel free to
Wow.
share the stream.
Wow.
You just have to accept that Cleo's apparently going to mock you for it.
I'm not. It's not supposed to be mocking. I'm just.
It's not supposed to be mocking. How was it meant to be taken, Cleo?
Cleo
I just say things that come to my head, okay?
And if they happen to be mocking, so be it.
No, that's
like-
not what I meant.
You wouldn't survive a day in my brain.
These dark, twisted halls. Some doors have stay out spray painted on them in white.
Aha, good reference.
Ah, got him.
I made a
I do not
terrible
know the
choice.
reference.
Well, that's because
In
you
what?
didn't
It's
get
the new
good.
21 Pilots album.
Yeah.
A choice in what?
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 Cleo said I made a terrible choice.
Oh.
Yeah, as in I made a terrible choice. It's me.
Yeah, well,
It's me. I'm the problem.
We're switching conversation
our
topics
faces
are on
seamlessly in
the
a way
internet
that's somewhat
now.
confusing.
Now
Okay,
they're on the
sorry.
internet. Now we're here.
I thought you meant you as in you, not you as in me I.
The UI stands for user interface.
I made a drink and it was
Oh.
a terrible combination.
What is the combination?
I don't know why I thought this was good, and everything in my bones told me this was a bad idea to mix a juice with Jack Daniels.
You which juice?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
We have like 2 juices in the fridge. and
Cleo's
they're like,
actually illiterate, so even though there's like a picture of an orange on one and a picture of an apple on the other one, even that
know.
is too much for Cleo.
because they're like not normal juices. They're like
fully-
combination fruit punch things, and I
Fully
didn't
camera
read
safe
it.
labels removed juices.
Yeah, they've been Greeked. Hey, guess what? It's 8 o'clock. You guys want to play some?
No.
It's 8 o'clock.
Some adventure games.
When did that happen?
Yes.
I think actually I would like to play some Halo.
Okay, well, before we do that, why don't we all introduce ourselves? We could just go left to right on the stream here. Just introduce yourself, say who you are, the name of the character you're playing, and give us their character sentence.
Okay. Hello, I am Jake, and I am playing Elias Sorrowwind, who is a stealthy elf explorer who walks the wild woods.
Hello, I am Cleo, and today I will be playing Fork Yorlong, who is a tier 1 honorable dragonfolk warrior who stands like a bastion in a fantasy world.
Wow.
Hello, I'm Mike, and I am, how's he say it? Norbin Bargle. We'll get the voice. Impulsive gnome, adept, who howls at the moon.
Actually, I think he quacks at the moon, right?
Who is a tier 1 naive human adept who descends from nobility.
And I'm Josh, the Wing Badger Game Master. I'm playing everybody else. Without
Yay.
further ado on all that, let's jump back into tonight's. It's not one of those. Tonight's adventure storytelling. I have to figure out. I need a new insider phrase there. We're jumping back into the adventure though, and we're gonna.
It's a winged badger adventure.
We're gonna pick up the adventure with Norbin Bargle. Norbin, with kind of a crunch and you have collapsed through the root system that was growing over top of this cave, and you find yourself standing in a cave. Imagine that. It's a tunnel that stretches towards the heart of the mountain, the frozen fang. Above you, the edge of sort of the hole that you have opened, are your 3 companions. And it is pitch dark in the cave. You can see nothing more than like maybe 5 feet, and that 5 feet is because there's like a dim amount of moonlight kind of filtering through from the forest above.
Norbin, what? Are you okay down there?
I'm fine. Wasn't that cool?
It was rash. Here, let me see if I can peek down. How deep is it in here? How deep does this seem?
Said to me or to Josh?
Hey, either one, whoever's willing to answer.
I'm pretty small, so it's huge.
How deep does it seem, Josh?
As Elias looks over the edge, it's maybe 10 feet of verticality, and then the tunnel is, stretching off into the distance. It has like kind of a gentle slope downwards. It seems like at least at the beginning, maybe this tunnel was formed by rain, where it's like there was a little divot in the side of the mountain, and then just kind of gravity and whatever kind of feeding it towards the center there. So it's just kind of sloping down in a way, like a gentle slope. It's not like you'd fall and roll the whole way down.
Norbin, here, and Elias is gonna see if he can like reach down and see. Can you get up here? I don't want you to be alone down there. Can you reach me?
Can I?
I think you can. Yeah.
Okay.
It's because Elias is like a tall dude, right? He's like a big old.
Elias is a tall elf, tall slender elf.
Yeah, you can reach.
I am also, if I remember correctly, I used distortion before coming into this hole, so I should be flickering in and out of blackness. So you should be.
I can't. I mean, hey, am I about to touch? I mean, hey, wait, where?
I'll be. I made all the effort to come down here. I think maybe you guys should join me.
And Elias is gonna kind of turn back towards Fork and Lars. I mean, it is late. What are we thinking?
I do say it is most peculiar.
I mean, yeah, it kind of is.
Norbin, as they're talking at the top of the hole, you think you see a glimmer of something maybe amber or gold colored, just a little bit further into the tunnel. Maybe Well, it's dark between here and there, and you're tiny, so you have no idea how to estimate distances. But you're pretty sure you could run to it pretty quick.
Holy smokes, guys. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back. I see something sparkly.
All right, actually, I think we need to follow him down there.
Absolutely.
And Elias will kind of try to carefully climb down
Okay.
as opposed to falling.
I mean, it's only 10 feet, so you don't even really have to climb. You just kind of lower yourself off the edge and let go, and you land. No problem. That would be a difficulty 0 task. Norbin, are you like taking off, or are you just waiting for them?
Yeah, no, I'm going. I'll be right back.
Norbin, you are going to need to make a defense roll using your speed if you want to apply any effort to it. So this is a speed defense roll to avoid something.
Imagine why I would need what could possibly be down here. Speed. Is there any way I can use my contortion ability to like bend myself so I'm better at like being springy and like have like a hop? So I'm like.
Sure, I'll let
Got a
you kind of try
bunch
and
of
roll with the
tits.
punch with that, so you can ease the task by 1. So that'll lower your difficulty, your roll target by 3.
Great.
You don't know what's
Okay.
attacking you, so I'm not telling you what the level is. But
Okay, super duper. Then I will roll. That's a 10 on the dice.
Norbin, you feel a sort of bone-shuddering cold about 10 steps into your run. The cave is normal. It's not like anything's happening. It's like a wave that kind of washes over you and then goes away again. Take 2 points of might damage as this kind of ambient... It's not a weather effect, but that's kind of the tune that it follows. Just kind of swooshes over you and then disappears. A moment later, Fork, I need you to make a speed defense roll. Not Fork, I'm sorry, Elias. Elias is the one who's in the cave.
Norbin, slow down. All right, you said speed.
Yeah, speed-based defense roll, and we know now that it's at
Alright.
least a difficulty 5 because of
Okay.
the previous.
Could I use a level of speed effort?
You sure
to lower that.
Yeah.
All right. I have a lot of speed because I'm a very speed-based character. I only rolled a 7.
All right, just like your friend Norbin, you take 2 points of cold damage to your might pool as just this wave of kind of shuddering icy, like it starts internally, not externally, and then it kind of like radiates outwards across your body and then disappears. At the same time, Norbin, the gold thing you were running towards kind of winks out of visibility, and then a few seconds later you see it bloop, kind of appear again, almost like a pulsing light.
Y'all good down there?
I mean, be careful when you're coming down. Be careful. There's some sort of magical cold effect that's hitting us, I think.
Bring a jacket.
Norbin, really getting on my last nerve.
I'm sorry. It just seems so nice. I wanted to share.
All right, you coming down with?
Yes, I will climb down too, Josh.
As the 2 of you lower yourselves into the cave, all 4 of you need to make a speed defense roll.
Oh man, I just need to roll good.
Oh,
Gosh darn it. Elias got a 1.
Elias got a 1. That includes a
Yeah.
complication. What else do
I
we have
got
going
a
on?
14 on the die.
I rolled a 19. I don't know if my blinking in and out of visibility helps with this at all.
Your 19 is a success with a minor effect. Let's go. Cleo, how did Fork do?
Fort rolled and straight 18.
Straight 18. All right. So only Elias is going to take damage this round. So take 2 points of heat damage as a wave of warmth. Kind of the same way as the cold. It kind of starts internally and radiates out through your bones and then kind of like washes away. And so now you've got like almost like a cold sweat left over because you're back in like the chill of the cave and you're still in kind of a colder part of Urida. And the rest of you feel the wave of warmth wash over you. It's just not enough to like damage you at all. So maybe you kind of, in fact, as your minor effect, Norbin, you actually detect little wisps of gold energy fluttering through the air as this wave of whatever kind of pulses up the tunnel towards you. And for your complication, Elias, as the warmth kind of like courses through you or whatever, you find that you have accidentally like maybe clenched your hands on a hunting tool or maybe your utility knife or something, and you take 1 point of might damage just from the involuntary reflex of it kind of changing with your muscles.
Okay. What do I apply heat damage to that you
It's to your
described?
might pool.
Okay, so it's always to my might pool?
So unless otherwise specified, it's going to be
Okay.
might, then speed, then intellect. However, in this
Okay.
case, I actually was specifying might as well. I was saying it out loud. So
Okay, cool.
Yep.
We need to stop. What is going on with this? This is not doing well for me.
Do we need a light?
Yeah, I think in the cave maybe that might be good. There's a little bit less room for snaking.
I think it might be a good idea.
I'm seeing gold wisps all over the place. I'm seeing some gold wispy stuff, guys. I don't know if that means anything, but
I'm gonna activate the Cipher of Light.
You activate the Cipher of Light, and it causes... remind me what level that cipher is?
Level 6.
Okay, so for the next 6 minutes, you create a light that will steadily dim over the next 6 minutes. But for now, it's the equivalent of like a small bonfire. So it's, you can see pretty far down the tunnel with this. You can now see the whole way to the gold object, which you were seeing, Mike. It is an eye peeking around a corner of the tunnel. And when it blinks, that's what the pulsing of that gold thing is. You can also see kind of trickling along the ground, there are these really interesting, like almost like geometric patterns kind of drawn or carved into the ground. They are clearly not naturally occurring. They always turn at right angles, so it's always like square, hard geometry, but they form a single unbroken line, and there are 3 of them that are kind of rushing down the full length or running down the full length of the tunnel. As you are watching, the 3rd of them actually has a little pulse of shadow racing up it. And as it races towards you, it gives you 1 level of easing because you know about it on your next speed defense task as a wave of something is about to try and wash over you.
This is not good.
All right, Norbin, is that weird thing object in the distance was causing this?
I'm seeing it just the same as you, but I would assume that these little tendrils on the ground are somehow connected, and that shadowy pulse will not be fun.
10-4.
I think if I can get close enough, I could determine what it may be or some properties about it.
Fork is just gonna beeline it to the end of the hall to try to get to whatever's causing this.
Can I jump on Fork before they go and have?
If Fork is not going to resist, you can just do that.
Fork's not gonna resist.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
You just hitch a ride, and Fork goes racing down. We'll still need your
Hold
speed
on.
defense roll just because you're still going to pass over where the shadowy thing is.
Lars is following right behind them.
I see that I am trained in speed defense actions as well.
That training will ease it by 1 level.
Right. That's a 6.
This is you've encountered it enough that you all can know that this is a difficulty 5 task. So as you're easing it, that will lower it down. The 6 is going to fail. But your target is a 15, and then you can subtract any easing that you can bring to the table.
I got a 19.
Okay, a 19 is a success with a minor effect. You grab Norbin and you yank him out of the way as the pulse comes by, so he's not affected by it, and then you just deposit him back on Fork's back.
I got you.
Thank you.
Elias got a 9. Elias is also trained in speed defense tasks.
Okay, so that will ease it from a 5 to a 4.
But still, so a 9 still.
Yeah, a 9 is
good.
still going to fail. So Elias is going to take 1 point of darkness damage to your might pool.
Fork here is just gonna take an effort. He's got an edge, so he's just gonna use 2 of his pool for that effort.
Sure.
And that eases it by 1 to a 4, difficulty 4.
Yep. So 12 is your target roll.
And Fork's gonna immediately throw the D20 under the desk.
That sounds good.
And back up on the table, and Fork rolled a 4 on the die. That means difficulty 4 means I pass, right?
That is not what it means. Fork, you take 1 point of shadow damage to your might pool, as it's almost like for a brief moment, it's like you go blind, and then your sight comes back.
Whoa.
At this point, you're sprinting to the end of the hallway, and so you get to the corner where that creature is peeking around the corner at you, its little eye exposed. And as you come around the corner, you see it is a small bipedal creature. It is maybe a foot taller than Norbin. It had climbed up the wall of the tunnel to peek around, so that's why it looked a little bit taller than it is. It has golden eyes set into kind of like a fleshy, squishy face. It has big floppy ears. And as it drops back down onto the ground and its feet kind of like splay out in directions, you can see that it has 3 toes on each foot, and it's almost like a frog or a chameleon or whatever, just like bleep, and kind of lands on the ground, looks up at you.
I'm gonna need you to stop with your assault. Can you understand me? I'm angry.
It very, very slowly begins backing away from you.
Can I scan it? I would like to use the spend 2 intellect to scan.
Yes, you certainly may. Remind me what scan does.
I scan an area including all objects or creatures within short range. Scanning a creature or object always reveals its level. You also learn whatever facts the GM feels are pertinent about the matter and energy in that area.
Okay. Wow, you're going to learn a lot right now. As you scan not just this creature, but the area around it, you realize that the tunnel system itself is almost like inundated with magic. There's some magic that has fallen into, or maybe stray magic that's fallen off the weave or whatever. You're too young and early in your journey to understand the intricacies of where the magic came from. But now that it is here, it has kind of sunk into the walls and the floor and begun to manifest in whatever way it can. This is basically the result of some wild, uncontrolled ciphers, like really powerful magics that are down in here, or perhaps one singular powerful artifact that is kind of leaking that magic without being attuned or, without being controlled by someone. And this creature that's in front of you appears to actually feed on the magic. And you remember maybe in some library or some class that you were half paying attention to this idea of rune feeders, which are like these little creatures that sort of look for extra energy and feed off of it. So almost like an inversion of how some creatures, like yourself, are able to internally generate some level of magical effects. These creatures are the opposite, where when there is surplus out in the world, they can sort of eat it, and it kind of is their sustenance. So this is one of those creatures. They are generally not evolved far enough to like hold conversations and things, although they're sentient. They're kind of tribal, and they usually live in packs. And they can understand like basic things. Like if you tried really hard, you could probably charades to the creature or whatever. It just doesn't know any languages, and you couldn't really speak to it. The magical energy in this specific section of the cave appears to be fire, ice, and a little bit of shadow. The fire and ice is much stronger than, or I guess heat and cold energy, if you will, is much stronger. There's much more of it than there is the kind of darkness energy.
Does it seem like it's doing these things on purpose to us, or is it like...
You are pretty confident the creature is not related to it at all. Like you think these effects, the waves of whatever that have been coming over you are because of the magic that has seeped into the cave. Or perhaps this untapped cipher or artifact or whatever there might be that's down here. That's just kind of like leaking energy almost.
Now, I'm going to need you to apologize for the harm you have done. Listen, I'm giving him a talk down.
It's not his fault. He's not doing
what
this.
What do you mean? He's the only thing here.
Yeah, but there's wild cipher magic in the air.
Are you suggesting the cave did it?
Yes, that is exactly what I am suggesting.
Well, that sounds dumb.
As Lars says that, the creature kind of like sinks down and dips its head towards one of the little cracks in the ground as you see kind of a warm red-orange pulse rushing up it towards you, and it flicks its tongue out like a lizard. It's like, flip! And it like eats the whole little surge, and you see its body gives off like a little bit of steam for a few seconds, and then it looks back up at you.
That was disgusting.
All right, I'll apologize. I'm sorry I yelled at you. You seem to not be the cause of the problem.
It's either some artifact, which is what we are looking for, or some like uncontrolled or broken ciphers that is causing the ambient magical energy.
It's the big cool thing.
Fork's gonna kneel down and reach out his hand gingerly. You okay, little bud? I'm sorry I yelled at you.
Make an intellect task to try and communicate, to communicate that you're peaceful to it. It's a simple creature, but not it's not completely unable to communicate. This is a difficulty 4 task of intellect.
It would be if I was not having difficulties relating to non-dragons. It's difficulty 5.
That's tough for Fork.
A little tougher for it, but you know what? He's willing. He's putting in the effort.
Oh, he's gonna try real hard.
He's gonna try real hard.
That'll bring it back down to a 4. Target roll a 12.
Oh, not my die again. I need to pull back my keyboard so I just have more rolling room. Oh, I didn't need to do that. I had an 18 on the die. I mean, obviously, I still used the effort.
You reach down, and the creature seems to understand. It doesn't like flee or anything like that. It still kind of freezes up. It maybe reaches out one little like hooked foot and like kind of rests it on top of your hand. Then it looks.
I shake its foot as if though we were having a business agreement. All right, very good. Nice to meet you.
It like sticks out its tongue and it like sticks to you for a second and sticks back away again.
Oh, I imagine that's a great honor.
I think you should mimic it.
I don't think that's gonna look very nice if I bare my fangs and stick my tongue out at it.
I think it's
I'm
okay.
not saying bare your fangs.
I think it'd be fun.
I'm gonna just bow my head. You have my respect and my
The
protection.
creature immediately hops up on top of your head.
Oh,
Next
hey,
to me.
Norbin, you got a
Yeah.
friend.
I start licking the thing.
Hey there, friend.
It looks down at you a little confused, cocks its head to the side, and like inches over to the other side of Fork's head. Like
He means well. You know what? We're gonna call you, Froggy. You okay? Froggy? Is that we call, Norbin, you be nice to Froggy now.
I've never not been nice.
All right.
I think Froggy will be good if he is willing. He, she, they, if they are willing, of course, to stick with us. It seems as though that tongue thing.
They can eat the magical energy.
Yeah, I think that is great. I think making friends with any of the wildlife down here will be advantageous because.
Hey, we made an agreement. He's not wildlife. He's a fellow being, the same as you and me. Ain't that right, Froggy?
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. When I speak of wildlife, I mean it in the most respectful way.
Him
As someone
sticking
who,
out his tongue like that was him agreeing with me.
yes, I'm sorry about that. I meant
One
no
tongue out is
disrespect.
yes, 2 tongues out means no, right?
No, it's a little bit more complicated. That you're don't trust me. It's something you just have to feel out and understand in the moment. All right, Froggy. I might have to lean down occasionally for the. I'm gonna point at the little waves of magic or like the lines they follow. I might have to take you and point you at these when they come. If you're okay with that, little snacky for you and a little defense for us. Yeah, you'll figure it out.
I think Froggy should be in the lead, or at least you and Froggy should be in the
Yeah, I'll take the point lead here. Where are we going, Norbin? You lead. You point the ways. You're on this shoulder.
Oh, yay! I have a job.
I assume we can just follow where the pulses are coming from. Is
Yeah, you
to
can.
find the-
Elias is going to hang back just outside the range of the light cipher and essentially trail, watch the back, watch the flank, make sure nothing follows them into the cave as well.
Why don't you roll an intellect task to see what level of threats you can detect?
Okay, another major part of this is he's going to try to be stealthy so that even if he does detect anything, that they won't see him.
So let's say instead of making you roll to see if you're stealthy or not, we'll say that you are successfully stealthy, but it will hinder your looking around. Like your intellect task will be hindered by 1 step in order to like be moving stealthily.
All right.
Elias, are you okay?
Yeah, I just want to watch our backs, make sure nothing comes in and follows us.
All right.
You guys go ahead. I'll follow. I'll be able to see your light.
Be safe back there now.
I will. I'll holler if anything goes wrong.
Now, Froggy, that there is Elias. He's gonna watch our backs, so he's a good friend as well. Okay. All right, let's get a move on. Norbin, you said this way. We just following the lines.
I think so. Is there any way could I just watch the lines really close to see if I can get a sense of how frequently they're coming out to get a better chance of? You said we already got a bit of a idea of what's going on, but
yeah, I'll say
dissect what's happening?
with an intellect task of 3, you can just figure out the rhythm of them, and then you don't need to worry about them anymore. We'll assume that you warn everybody unless you're intentionally distracted by some enemy force.
So at least a 9.
Yes, a 9.
Elias
Is the
got a
target
12
number.
on his intellect, perception, essentially.
Okay, great. So that would let you see threats up to level 4, but because you're hindered for your stealth, we're going to say level 3. So it hinders you 1 step. So anything up to level 3, I'm just going to tell you it's happening before it happens. How did Norbin do on his intellect task?
Norbin rolled a 6.
Norbin's trying to study them, but there's 3 of them, and there's also this other freaky little dude just hanging out on Fork's head, and you just don't figure it out.
I'm really jealous of Froggy.
This is a rule in Cypher system we haven't come across yet, I think. You are allowed to reattempt tasks you've failed, but you must spend at least 1 level of effort on the reroll. So if you want, you could try again, but it will cost you a minimum of 3 points because you have to spend that effort from your intellect pool in order to retry.
Now, for the class, will that then count towards making the roll easier, or is the effort just counting towards reattempting?
That's a fantastic question. Let me check. I believe it counts towards easing the task because it says you must spend a level of effort. So I think you're using a level of effort. I'm going to say it counts towards the task, so it will ease it.
I interpreted it that way, but I thought I should ask for the class.
That was very kind of you.
So can I use some effort to try that again?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Can I assist him?
Can you what?
Can I help with that?
Yes.
Work with him to just...
Yes, other characters may assist, and maybe it's just because you've been studying, so you're kind of cluing him in on the different energies. That's how your character's helping. But only up to 2 levels of help. So at a maximum, only 2 of you can help. But I think Elias is busy, so he can't help. And Fork is holding up people. He's probably not doing any mental
I
dexterity.
don't care to.
Yeah. So we'll ease it by 2 steps for you.
I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7. The difficulty was a 3, which is a 9. Eased by 2 steps is a difficulty 1, so the target roll is just the number 3. So with your 7, you succeed.
Yay!
I got it, guys.
So you see, if you follow these, it follows this pattern, You see the energy?
Okay, yeah, I got it. Thank you.
So you have successfully figured out the pattern, so we won't worry about those other than for it from a flavor sense, they're still happening, So
Yeah.
Froggy, here you go. And I just gingerly grab Froggy and take him down to the floor.
Just hold him like a vacuum.
I put him back.
Yep. Yeah, I guess now you know the rhythm. You can just lower him at the right moments. And every time you do, he gets very briefly cold or warm. Little steam comes off of him or a little bit of chill.
I give him a little pat as a reward system, perhaps training him in a Pavlovian sense.
Operant conditioning.
This thing that's already his source of sustenance and that he wants to eat, you're just going to try and condition him to eat it. The weirdest part is when he laps up the darkness, the little shadow energy. For the briefest moment, you could swear you see malice behind his big, wide, vacant eyes. He's just like... Then he goes back to being a little dude.
Oh, you're just as cute as before. Get up on here.
So you have kind of successfully conquered that challenge, and as you walk deeper into the tunnel, it's not super far. It's a couple bends maybe in the tunnel, just slight kind of curves as it moves before you come to another obstacle. You find yourself in kind of a widened section of the tunnel where a bunch of roots, probably from trees above you, have sort of grown into and covered the path forward, basically. So it's like a wall of tree roots that you would need to get through. It looks, as far as you can tell, thin enough to get through to the other side, although the light that Lars's cipher is casting is starting to dim. Probably in the next minute or two, it's gonna go out. But you're pretty sure it's just one layer of roots that you would need to get through. And this brings us to destroying objects. And you kind of, again, are having a brief little flashback to Counselor Peppermint.
Miss Poppy Peppermint. Now, when it comes to objects that you have to destroy in your adventures, sometimes you'll find yourself trapped behind enemy lines. Sometimes you'll find yourself trying to dig deeper to things. Whatever the case is, sometimes you will need to destroy objects, and when you do, it is easiest to think about objects in 4 states of being. There is the object as it is. We could call that an intact object. And she picks up a big, like paperweight or a big glass ornament. Now, if you can damage this object a little bit, we could say that it has been damaged a minor level. And she pulls out a utility knife and just kind of puts a big scratch in the front of it. This is minor damage. This object can still function, but it is possible that it could break or, be damaged while using it. But on its own, it will still stand and be a glass sphere. Now, if we damage it critically, we could call that major damage. And she takes the knife and puts it back at her belt and pulls out a small hammer and just and cracks kind of spiderweb through the glass. This object is just one moment, one sneeze, or one breath away from being completely destroyed. And then she drops it on the ground and it shatters into a bunch of pieces. And when it has reached that destroyed point, it is very difficult to repair. In fact, most objects cannot be repaired from this state. Previous to that, it is possible to repair an object if you try hard enough. From a mechanical standpoint, to destroy an object, whether it be an enemy sword, whether it be a wall you're attacking, or whether it be anything else, you need to succeed on a might task versus the object using an item that is at least as hard as the object. So, you can't use a sponge to destroy a concrete wall no matter how hard you hit it. But with a root system, anything with a blade is going to be harder than a root system. So you could certainly attack it with your utility knives that are in your branded Camp Blunder Adventurers pack. You need to succeed on your attack and then deal damage equal to its level. So it's not like it has hit points you're going down. This is a level 2 root system. So every time you hit it and deal 2 damage or more, you take it down the track. So the first time you deal 2 damage or more to it, it becomes minor damage, then it becomes major damage, then it is destroyed. And that is how it works. So that is how you would destroy an object. You could choose some other solution to get through this, but if you wanted to destroy an object, that's how it's done.
All right.
And these are solid tree roots.
I'm going to have to set you down, Norbin. Leave this to Fork. All right. This is a your long family specialty. Now, Froggy, I'm about to make a very scary thing, so I might have to take you off my shoulder now, okay? And I put him down.
He scampers over into the corner, dips his little head down, and sucks up another little magical thing.
All right. And I just breathe fire.
Elias has barely caught up from trailing behind, and Elias, wide-eyed, is mortified at the fire being spat at the tree roots.
Oh no!
He's just, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What level is your fire breathing? Or how much damage does it deal?
I don't know either of those, because neither came up in character creation. It just said I could.
It should say in the ability, in the description of your ability. I'm going to Google it really quick.
I'm checking. Hubda. Dragon breath. It says dragon breath. Blast inflicts 2 points of damage.
Okay, great.
Of fire.
Yep, that's perfect. 2 is equal to or higher than this creature's level, which is 2. So that works. You breathe fire on it, and as the fire kind of ripples across the tree roots, they become minor damaged. They are 1 step down a 3-step track to being destroyed. And as you see them weaken, they begin to flex if you lean across them, and some of the smaller ones just fall off onto the ground of the tunnel.
All right, that should weaken it good.
Wait. What are you doing? This is wrong. Why would you? These trees did nothing to you. These roots, they're the lifeline of the tree.
Well,
what's going on here?
I sometimes you gotta manage things. I can't let the tree grow through my house. The tree's growing through my house. I gotta remove it.
This is a cave. This is a random cave.
It's an obstacle. You know?
Look at this. And Elias will go up to the tree roots. And is there enough of a gap for him just to slip through as a skinny elf boy?
It would be a speed task of difficulty. I think it's difficulty 4 probably. They're like tightly woven, but you can see through them. And he's skinny, so we'll ease that to a difficulty 3. So target roll is a 9.
Elias will just try to just kind of think skinny, get through.
Think skinny.
Oh man, that's a 7.
Okay, Elias is not able to squirm through the root system.
Well, I mean that did not prove my point very well. But there's
listen,
got to be another way than doing
these
this.
trees. Have you seen the trees in these woods?
Yeah,
If we just cut enough of a gap that we can get through, and I let it chart a little bit, that helps cauterize the roots.
That is not how that works.
I'm sure it works.
No. No, it does not.
Either way,
if we want to,
we gotta cut open a way. Unless you want to starve down here and die.
What if I
Weird
try
magical.
this? What if I try this? Can I try and weasel my tiny little body in between the roots and like contort
Yes,
it to try and like push things out of the way?
Yeah, I would say
untangle them in a
your
weird
size will ease it by 1 difficulty to 3, and then your contortionist will ease it another difficulty to 2. So it's only a target roll of 6 for you.
Oh, thank goodness. 17.
17. You easily squirm your way through, your little gnome feet kicking behind you as you kind of like disappear through the roots. It is only 1 root layer thick. So when you get through to the other side, it's like not very far. You can still hear each other through, although by this point the light winks out from the cipher. And so just as you emerge on the other side, you get one very brief, dim glimpse of what's ahead of you before the light goes out. And what you see is that the tunnel is widening into maybe a room of some kind. And you think maybe there's something laying at the center of the room, but you can't tell for sure.
I poke my
now-
tiny gnome head back through. Guys, it looks like there's something laying there. I'm pretty fucking scared right now.
Just hold on,
listen,
Norbin.
Norbin can fit
We-
because
we
he's a
will
little
make it
scrawny little boy.
Through.
All right. We're gonna have to damage the roots. I'm not saying we take an axe and we cut down the tree. I'm just saying we cut enough of a hole to get through. We got to.
Is there beak?
Josh, I would like to try and follow what Norbin did.
It's a difficulty 4 task. Can you make it any easier?
No, he would not do any. Like, he just like, oh, I could do that.
Target roll is 12.
I got a 9.
All right, you cannot squirm your way through the root system.
Norbin, how did you do that?
I'm a lot smaller than you. I don't mean to brag, but it's something I'm born with.
All right. How about this? They're a little weakened. I'm gonna try to help out here. Instead of cutting them, maybe we can just persuade them. And
that's what I was gonna suggest.
Fork-
I think we can try to move them.
Fork is gonna try to like open a gap in the roots using his strength.
So that will be a might task. It's a difficulty of 4. That's the level of the root system that you're trying to get through. So it's a difficulty of 12 unless you're going to modify it in any way.
You know, I'll use a level of effort.
Elias would try to assist.
Okay.
Because Elias is in support of this tactic rather than trying to cut the roots or burn them.
So that'll ease it down to a might of 3 for you, Fork.
You on the count of 3, we'll pull, and then.
All right.
And little gentleman, you can try to crawl through. 3, 2, 1. What difficulty did we say we were going for?
4. Ease to a 3.
No, 3.
So it's
I
a
used
9.
it, yeah.
Target roll of 9.
Target roll 9. I used effort as well. So that would be a target roll of 6.
6.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, I rolled a 7.
Oh.
There you go. With your 7, you are able to, it's like really tight, but the two of you, these are probably like, deep subterranean roots, so they're pretty stuck in their ways. It's a big effort for you to hold them aside, but you can hold them aside long enough that Lars can go through to the other side.
Here you go, Lars. Get in there.
Thank you.
All right.
I could not have done that.
Now, Elias, I'm gonna brace what you're holding, and then you move on through.
All right. I'll go quick.
Hey, I could try holding from this side, but I'm not very strong.
Anything helps.
All right. Elias will like hold from the other side with all
Fork
his might.
will not trust it and still brace.
Okay, that's going to be a difficulty 3 task when Elias lets go, because you have one creature aiding you. go ahead. Let's say, since you're already holding it, it seems like probably this is a task that Lars is attempting, right? Like he's the one taking new weight to hold it open. So I would say, Lars, let's have you roll a might task with a difficulty of 3 because Fork is easing it by 1 degree for you. And you can, again, apply effort or whatever it is to ease it.
So I have to apply effort before I roll, right?
Yes.
I'm going to spend 1 effort.
That's 3 points from your might pool, less any edge you might have. And then go ahead and roll. And that'll ease it down to a difficulty 2. So the target roll here is 6.
I have to say, Fox have been so good at this.
I got 6 exactly.
6 exactly. You succeed. And so you're able to hold it long enough for Elias to get through, and now there's just Fork on the other side.
All right. Here, I'll help you. Lars.
All right.
We'll get Fork through.
Elias, it's a difficulty 4. Might task eased to 3 because 1 creature is helping you.
All right. Let's do better than a 9.
I'm gonna let go of this part. Make sure you got it grabbed right.
I got it. Don't worry. I'll get it. I keep rolling horrible. That's a 4.
You, as soon as Fork lets go, the tree root system kind of escapes your fingers and snaps back in the other direction, like the rubber band effect, and kind of closes again.
I'm sorry. We'll get this. That magic stuff just kind of took
You know
it
what?
out of me.
I'm just gonna try to force my way through. I'm gonna try to slip through like the rest of them did.
Difficulty
Without-
4. Actually, you're you're really tall, right? You're
Yeah,
you're
I
like
would
a big
imagine
dude who
that's a
stands
difficulty
like a
5.
bastion. I think that's gonna hinder you to a difficulty 5.
Well, I already rolled the dice. Is that all right?
Yeah, what'd you get?
I got an 18.
You got an 18.
Nice.
Fork, mostly by force of will, just
By forks of will.
yeah, by forks of will, shoves his way through and lands on the other side. I don't know whether you're pulling yourself through or whether you kind of step through with your feet first, but whatever. All 4 of you find yourselves on the other side, the root system closed up behind you in total darkness. The room is wide enough
Froggy?
that you're gonna lose your contact with the walls, and I think you set Froggy down, and so he is probably on the other side of the root system from you.
Froggy, now, we may part ways unless you can somehow follow us, so I just thought I should give you my thanks and for helping us. Now, it seems like you don't eat normal food, so here, I'm gonna pull out woodcutter's
He
badge.
eats magic.
I'm gonna give out my woodcutter's badge that I earned when I cut some wood for camp exercises. I'm just gonna pass it through and be like, here you go.
It lands with
That's-
a dunk kind of on the cave floor.
That's my token to remember me by. I'll always remember you, Froggy. All right, let's get going.
He probably won't respond to that.
You don't know that. All right,
He does not possess the ability to talk, at least. No speech.
I'm just saying, I've had ducks respond to me out on the lake when I'm fishing. I'm sure Froggy here has more intelligence than a duck.
That's probably true. Well, anywho, let's what's going on here? Did you say you saw something? You saw something, Norbin?
Yeah, Norbin?
Yeah, it's not. I can't see anymore, but it looked like there might have been something laying down in the middle of the room, so maybe we just be a little quiet and.
You hear us as a snake is slithering around the floor somewhere, but it reverberates
I'll
around the
solve
cavern.
this.
It's hard to figure out where.
DM,
Yes.
would it be understandable as part of our
Your adventuring pack.
backpacks?
Pack?
Yes. We have a utility knife. Would it also make sense we have little torches?
You have, I'll read them to you again. Utility knife level 2, branded canvas pack level 1, bedroll level 1, heavy duty hiking boots of level 3, lightweight leather tunic armor level 2, and flint and tinder level 1. You do not have any torches. The intention was that you would figure out how to make your own torches
That's fair.
here at camp.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead.
Elias.
Without Elias hopefully seeing, I'm gonna snap off a branch off the roots.
Sure, you're trying to basically damage it. It's already minor damage. So go ahead and roll a might task with a difficulty of 3. I've just realized that I made a rules mistake. As you walk an object down the damage track, it loses 1 level for every step. So it should have been level 3, not level 4 after you had damaged it once. That's my bad. So it's level 3.
15.
Yeah, that's easily enough. So the rest of you just hear a sharp as Fork rips off a piece of the root system.
Fork.
Yep.
I know what you did.
Then you're about to be very appreciative. And I don't know if this counts as using my ability Dragon Breath to its full extent. Because it actually costs points to use. Could I just say I spit a little flame out
No.
to try to light it?
You can use
No.
the flint and tinder
Okay.
and make I would call that probably a speed task. That's like a dexterity thing. Or you can spend the points to use your Dragon Breath.
Hell. We'll spend the points. All right. And I spit out a little breath of flame onto the twig.
You spit out a breath of flame onto it, and with it comes to life, and you get sort of a dim glow in a short range from you, just in time to see a little bit of a snake kind of slithering towards you across the ground. As soon as you strike the light, the snake is going to take the opportunity to attack, and then we're going to roll some initiative. The snake's going to leap towards you, and you're going to make a speed defense task, Fork. It's drawn to the light,
okay.
so speed defense.
All right.
Actually,
13.
Okay. 13 is, let me see, snake is level, yep, 13 passes. So you basically just jump backwards out of the way, your torch kind of waving through the air.
Little feisty
You may
fella.
choose as players whether you want to use might or speed for your defense rolls, just so you know. I am wrong that it was all speed. You can choose. So that you successfully defend. Now let's all roll some initiative. Initiative is a speed roll, I think. I'm checking my little cheat sheet here. I printed out a bunch of this stuff.
Each player makes a speed roll called an initiative roll. Most of the time, it's only important to know which characters act before
Yep.
NPCs.
That part's true. Okay, I remember now because I was reminded by the rules. So you're going to make a speed-based roll, which means you can ease your difficulty, so to speak, by applying speed effort if you want. We're just going to figure out who goes before and who goes after the snake, and then you can go in any order you want. And then the snake will go, and then the other people go in any order they want.
I am
Elias has a danger sense ability that allows his initiative task to automatically be eased.
Okay, great. So
I'm also
you're gonna-
initiative trained.
Great.
Nice.
Lars is not, and he rolled it a straight 11
Okay.
because he's not
It's a
spending
difficulty
effort on it.
3 with a target of 12. So if you beat 12, then you go before the snake, and if you are less than 12, then you go after the snake.
Difficulty 3.
I'm sorry, difficulty 4. It's a 3 for you. That's what got me confused in my
okay.
head.
I got a 7.
Elias got a 13, so
Before the
he'll
snake.
be going before.
What did Norbin get?
7 for Norbin.
Okay, so it's Elias. Then what did Fork get?
Fork rolled a 6.
A 6. Okay, so it's Elias first, then the snake, and then everyone else. So yeah, Elias, it's your turn. There is a
All right.
snake. It is a short distance away.
Sweet.
Now, Elias, we've always had these out by the cabin where I grew up. You just gotta grab them behind the neck and where their head is.
I'll be the judge of that. And Elias would like to use his identify plants or animals ability
Okay.
to see if he can identify what kind of snake this is and whether indeed the best strategy is just to grab it behind the neck and get it in a kind of
Get 'em,
held in a
get 'em,
spot where
get
it
'em.
can easily be cut.
Sure. Is this just a thing that you're trained in, or is this like an ability with a description that tells us exactly
I
how it works?
believe it's just a thing I'm trained in.
Great. So that will ease your intellect task by 1 step. So it
Okay.
was a difficulty 4. Now it's a difficulty 3. Target roll of
All right.
9.
All right. Gosh dang it. I'm gonna switch my dice after this session for next session. I got a 6.
6. You are unable to identify what this snake is, but you think looking at
Oh.
it, there's something.
No, I got a 9.
Did you read it,
It was
upside
I read it
down?
upside down. I saw the line on the wrong side.
What do you think, chat? We'll give it to him.
I saw here.
We're
I can't show my webcam very good.
That's okay. I
Anyways.
believe you. It's fine. You identify that this is a common rattlesnake, except for the parts of it that aren't. And by that, I mean you can see that some level of the magic that pervades this cave has kind of sunk into it. You're pretty confident that the normal poison of a rattlesnake, which is not very powerful, is probably in some way altered by the magic. But that is what this snake is. It is motivated purely by like hunger and territorial defense. It is probably not something you can reason with.
Okay. And is that a full action
Yes,
to do that?
that's a full action. Although you can move as part of that if you want, I think.
Okay. Elias will try to. Well, I guess what Elias will do will try to move up close to it from behind.
Sure. So like an immediate distance behind it.
Yep. And then he'll also communicate. This thing's possibly magically venomous. It doesn't look quite right, so be careful. Don't let it bite you.
Which brings us to the snake's turn, and the snake is going to begin its turn by leaping again towards Fork. It's really drawn to that light, and so Fork, you need to make a defense roll against a level 4.
Hey.
You can choose speed or
buddy.
might.
We'll go with might.
Okay,
That's an 11.
that's an 11. An 11 is not going to beat a difficulty 4, which is a 12, and so it's going to hit you. And as it latches in, it deals 4 points of might damage with its bite, and then you're going to roll a might task, difficulty 4, to withstand the poison.
Oh, what does armor do?
I believe armor absorbs some level of damage. So the bite, if you have armor on, it will absorb however many hit points of the bite. So like if your armor is level 2, like if you're wearing that leather tunic armor thing you were given, then which you can just decide because you probably didn't realize you had it, then it's incoming damage minus your armor equals damage. And that only applies to might damage. So like this bite. Other damages ignore armor.
You know what? Now, I was reading the armor wrong. I thought I got natural draconic armor.
Oh, okay.
But it's actually for the energy type. And Fork wouldn't be wearing no leather tunic armor.
Fork prefers to be nude at all times.
Well, he just prefers to wear his shirt
Okay.
and his pants.
Okay.
So, all right. Might 4.
Might 4. Target roll is 12.
I'll use a level of effort.
Okay.
I rolled a 12.
You rolled a 12.
That was...
You are able to resist the poison, and so you take no further damage. And
Whoa.
remember, the rest of you can go in any order you want as well. Like, it's
Yeah.
just after the snake. So,
Now,
Lars and
if you
Norbin,
don't
you can
mind,
just jump in there.
I'm going to try to grab it. If this don't work out, you got to have my back, okay?
Okay.
We got you.
All right. I don't know what kind of chick that we're looking for here, DM, but I'm going to try to grab right behind the head.
Okay. Make a... I think that... Well, maybe you can justify whether you want to use speed or might. Like, justify why it's that.
It's a speed check for sure.
So speed difficulty 4. Target roll is 12.
All right, man. You know what? I'll go ahead and use I'll use a level of effort for that as well.
Fork is trying hard this fight.
All right. Oh, jeez. 18.
18. Not only do you successfully grab it, and 18 is a special roll in combat. You deal 2 extra points of damage, which you dealt no damage, so you deal 2 points of damage from like the whiplash of snatching it out of the air as it leaps towards you. Fork kind of like, it bites him, and then it tries to poison him but can't, and as it lets go before it can get away, you like snatch it out of the air, and Fork's got the snake. This will ease the attack roll for anybody else who wants to attack it.
I got him.
Stab it in the head while he's holding it.
Well, I don't think he can hurt me as long as I'm holding it like this.
It already hurt you. It deserves to die.
I mean, it's just trying to live like the rest of us.
Oh, now you think that about the snake and not about the trees.
Well, hey now.
Hypocritical. You can kill the snake. That's fine.
I
with me.
wasn't
my
killing
friend!
the trees.
And Norbin runs up and stabs it in the head. And
with
tries
his
to
knife?
not stab Fork in the hand.
Great. Go ahead and roll your attack. That'll be a might attack, and it'll be difficulty 3 because it's eased while Fork holds it in place.
17, baby.
17, that is a special roll in combat. 17 is the first of the special rolls. 17, 18, 19, 20. You deal +1 points of damage. So you're using your utility knife, which is a level 2, so it deals 2 points of damage. +1 for your special roll, you deal 3 points of damage.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You got him.
I crawl up Fork and wrap around his arm. Say,
Die, you evil creature!
punch it
Oh,
in.
no, all right. Now, Elias, you gotta remember, I'm not even paying attention to what's going on over my arm. I'm just holding it off to the side. You gotta keep in mind, all right? I I neutralize the snake, much like I tried
Lars,
to
you still have a turn to take as well.
neutralize the situation with the tree roots. Okay.
There
was
was
logic
nothing
behind it.
to neutralize with the tree roots. They weren't doing anything wrong.
If I hadn't done what I did, it wouldn't have been nearly as easy to do what we did.
What's Lars doing?
Go ahead, Lars. Yep.
Lars would like to make like a makeshift hood to put over the snake's head using the canvas, the branded canvas.
Okay. Just like to use your bag, basically. Let's see. That's interesting. Do you have any skills? Well, it's already a canvas pack. I would say that are you trained in like wrangling or anything like that? I think it's more difficult to wrangle a snake than it is to just hit it with something. So I think that hinders your attack by 1. So we're back to a difficulty 4 for your task. But you can try and pitch me on easing it in other ways.
Well, what you doing,
so-
Lars? You trying to put it in a bag?
Well, just cover its head so it's not threatening or lethal for us. I read about it in
I
a
mean,
book
we can
that
just
a lot
shove
of
it in a
times
bag.
snake-
Shoving it in a bag's just gonna be a lot easier. What you're talking about.
Shove it under your boot.
I'm just picturing this teeny little gnome like reaches up to your shin, yelling like, like
Oh,
hi
he's
man.
attached. This gnome is
You wanna
attached to
make
my
sure
arm
you-
right now.
You want to make sure you put the snake in head first. That's how all of the zookeepers.
Yeah, just put my whole arm in the bag, and then I'll let it go.
Okay, and then Lars will hold up the pack, like dump out the pack and hold it up, and like.
So for Fork to let go of the snake in the bag is going to be a speed defense roll for sure speed because you're trying to snatch your hand out before it can bite you.
Oh, sure.
And the difficulty is 4 because you're going to let go,
All
so
right.
it's not restrained.
Now, Norbin, I'm gonna need you to watch out here, cause I don't want to put you in the bag with it.
I might fight it in the bag. I don't know.
All right, well, here we go. And I put my hand in the bag until I make sure the whole snake's in there. Now hush now, and I let go and I
All right.
yank my hand out.
Speed task, difficulty 4. Target roll is 12.
I will use another level of effort.
Yeah, you will. Target roll is 9.
Using all of my. I rolled a 9.
A 9?
Thank goodness.
Nice.
Yes.
You are able to successfully, just barely, you can feel the snake's like little fangs scrape across your hand, but it doesn't bite into your hand as you yank your hand back out of the bag. And as Lars slams the bag closed and tries to kind of hold the snake in place, you can feel it like wriggling and writhing, and little surges of magical energy begin like just kind of like bursting out into the air. Not enough to do any damage, but just like little sizzles of magical energy kind of popping out of it, little heat and cold surges. And the snake is like rattling and hissing, and it's all upset that you have bagged it.
Now, Lars, you got to keep a good tight on that. Okay.
Well, I don't plan on opening it.
Let me help you pick up. I'll hold on to the stuff you dumped out that you can't fit in your pockets.
I appreciate it.
We have him right where we want him. Slam the bag against the wall.
Now, Norbin,
He could be our class pet.
as much as Elias is upset with me, I'm sure he agrees with me on at least we
mean-
don't need to.
Yeah, I mean it's not really necessary at this point. I appreciate your enthusiasm.
We could take it back to camp and make it
At this moment, with all of you
camp
distracted
pet.
by your argument and not having your lizard friend with you, I'd like everybody to roll a defense task as another wave of arcane energy rushes up the tunnel towards you.
Could I make the task easier because I am trained with intellect and I know the pattern? We figured out the pattern, so I know that when it's coming, I know where
you can
and what it'll be.
ease it by 1 step. So for you, it's a difficulty 3. For everyone else, it's a difficulty 4.
Fork is not paying attention.
I still failed. I got a 5.
How did Elias
Fork rolled
do?
an 8.
Elias got a 13, and he's trained without armor,
Great.
so his speed defense is trained.
Cool. Elias, you don't take any damage. You remember just in the nick of time and jump out of the way. The other 3 of you feel a wave of cold that kind of starts in your bones and like rushes out through you and sets you shivering. Goosebumps on your arms and everything. And then there's just this brief, sudden, silence. Like the snake felt it too and kind of went still from the cold.
Sorry, how many points you said?
2 points of cold damage.
Now, all right, that's a little bit of enough of that. Before we move on, I'm gonna cover myself up a bit, and I'm finally pulling out the leather armor and putting that on.
Cool. And you remember Poppy Peppermint teaching everybody as you received your canvas packs. Now remember, the thing about armor is that it makes it a little bit more difficult to move. And so if you are not trained in armor of your particular class, light, medium, or heavy armor, then it will incur a penalty to all of your speed rolls when you try to apply effort. Your effort will cost 1 extra point. This is a light armor, so it
All right.
soaks up 2 points of might damage, and if you're not trained in light armor, then all of your speed effort costs +1. So think of it as like an edge of -1. And there it is. We're standing in a dark room with a snake in a bag.
Let's move forward and
All right, somebody.
end this.
I guess I'll go for it since I have the little light here. It's not gonna last long. It's not like I got any.
Oh, that's right. You have a torch. I'm sorry. It's a dim cave, not a dark cave. You can see a short distance.
Norbin, if you want to take your perch, you seem to be pretty good at spotting things.
Yes, please. Crawl back up and look
There
around
you
again.
go. All right. Yeah. No. Watch the shoulders. Okay. There you go.
Can I see? Are the lines still going deeper into this
Yes.
room?
They're
Oh
still
my
leading
God.
deeper into the tunnel. And on the other side of this room, there's just, the tunnel just continues. It's just wider now. What you thought was a room was really just the tunnel widening. So now it's maybe 20 or 30 feet wide.
Oh dear, we got a ways to go, guys.
All right. One step at a time, just like Papa used to tell me.
And I'll take those steps once again, kind of from the back, trying to watch out for anything trying to sneak up on us.
I'm going to take this brief opportunity to remind you in my capacity as your GM that resting is also different in the Cypher system. In that when you want to recover resources, instead of having to take a short rest for an hour or a long rest for 8 hours, your first rest only costs 1 action, so 5 to 10 seconds. And your second rest costs 10 minutes. Your third is an hour, and your fourth is 10 hours.
Yeah,
so
can we
even
take a little
during
rest?
combat, you can take a round and say, hey, I'm not going to attack this round, I'm going to rest. And when you rest, you make a recovery roll. So you're going to roll a d6, and then you can divide those points however you want between your pools. So that's what resting is.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to take a quick breather.
Yeah, let's stop
We
for a
need a
second.
quick little breather. Yeah.
And it,
Just everybody breathing exercise.
Yep.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
you also do not all have to take them at the same time. So if one of you wants to save your rest action, you can save it for another time. And then it just means
Lars is gonna save it.
Now,
there's a spot on your character sheet to track which ones you've used, I believe.
question.
Yep.
Does this recover both health, like, the actual stat, and pull?
They're the same. Your pool is your health.
Oh.
So if one of your pools drops to 0, like if your might pool drops to 0, you move 1 step down the road to death. If all 3 of your pools are 0, you're dead.
So wait, if I'm using effort, that's the same pools that I'm taking damage in.
Yes.
I have to recalculate.
The same,
But-
the closest analog to this in D&D is exhaustion. When your first pool reaches 0, it's just like objects. There's, your creature is hale, impaired, debilitated, and dead. So your first layer of exhaustion is when your first pool hits 0, you become impaired. Effort costs 1 extra point per level. You ignore minor and major effects. So like a critical 20 is just a 20. Rolling 17 plus only deals 1 bonus damage point. So that's impaired. A debilitated character, 2 pools are 0, is critically injured. Your only action is to move up to an immediate distance. So that's like 5 to 10 feet that you can move. And if it's your speed pool that has fallen to 0, you can't move at all. So a debilitated
wait.
creature is like crawling on the ground. It's Anakin after he tries to take the high ground. Is debilitated.
Wait a minute. So if I use a lot of effort, does that mean my health pool's really low in response?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
It's like
It's
your
a give and a take.
Yeah, it's like your wellness or your capacity to do mighty things or to do speedy things or to do smart things. And if all 3
You're
of your
exhausting yourself
and if all
to do
3 of
that.
your pools drop to 0, you are dead. Recovery is no longer possible via rolls. There is no uncertainty about death in the cipher system. Once you're dead, you are dead unless someone has a cipher or an artifact that can revive you.
All right, well, Fork might need longer than this deep breath.
You can take 10 minutes as well and roll another d6.
If Fork doesn't want to slow you down, though.
No, I mean, I'm down to do that, to take just 10-minute break, sit down.
All right.
If it needs to be longer than that, I can make sure I'm being
Now,
observant.
I happened to pull out a granola before we came out here. Anybody else got granola? I can snap mine in half if need be.
I got mine with me.
There we go. Norbin, you got your granola with you?
I'm always got granola.
There we go. Lars?
My companions usually carry them.
Well, here you go. You can have half of mine.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't need it as much as you.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And with that gesture of kindness, a little bit of coziness joins you in this cave. It's dark, it's cold, you haven't slept, it's real late at this point. You have no idea how to get back to camp. There's roots closed behind you. You don't know if you can get out the way you came in without offending Elias's sensibilities. And yet here, sitting down briefly in this moment where all of you are munching on some granola, things seem like they might turn out okay.
In the middle of that moment, can I turn into a duck?
Is that a thing you can do at will, or do you have to see the moon?
It just says 5 consecutive nights a month. And I'm going to ask if this can be the first
You're pitching
night.
me on a player intrusion. You can spend 1 XP to cause an intrusion, and absolutely you can do that. That's a great use.
I'll use
of
my
your-
XP.
Okay, I think it's 1 XP. Let me double check here. Sorry, this would be 2 XP. This is a short-term thing, not an immediate thing.
All right,
So-
I only have 1.
You can have a second one. It's a good idea. Everybody have 1 XP for surviving your first combat. There you go. You don't normally get XP for doing combat things, but I think I'm doing a bad job of remembering to give them out. You should be getting them all the time. So,
Heck yeah. Yeah, in the middle of the quiet, you just hear the shifting of bones. As I look at the bag with the snake in it, and I get really angry. I don't know why we left that thing to live. I mean, he was hurting my friend. He was hurting my friend. My friend. Whack! Whack! You see the horrifying sight of the bones of this gnome dismantle and configure into a new shape. My hands turn into sprawled out wings, and painfully, almost molting looking feathers start to push through my skin. My nose and mouth fuse into one form, and you see a slightly bigger duck than what was the gnome formerly known as Norbin.
Oh my dear, what? Norbin?
And I dive into the bag with the snake in it, or at least I try. If they're holding it closed, I'm going to try and force my head into that bag.
Lars is eating granola. Unless there's a way for you to eat granola and be personally pinning the bag, I think you've probably just closed the flap, right?
Yeah, it's just closed.
Okay, so yeah, you just leap in, you just, get your beak in there and nose your way through the canvas bag. Everyone else in Torchlight just sees the bag like shifting and hopping up and down. You are making an attack against a snake. You are catching it by surprise. So I'll ease your attack by 1 step. It's a difficulty 3 to attack this snake.
All right, this thing's dead.
What in tarnation?
I've seen some strange things. I have not seen that before.
That's a 13.
13. You successfully hit with your difficulty target of 9. You snap into it. Do we know how much damage duck does?
I mean, I don't know.
Let's treat it as 2 hit points for right now.
Let's see.
Weapons are light, medium, and heavy, and they just do 2, 3, or 4 points of damage. So,
I'm trying to read it in this new
I
form.
would assume it could be
gain
similar to
plus-
like a punch, which like my punch attack is 2 damage, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It says I gain +8 to my might pool, +1 to my might edge, +2 to my seed pool, +1 to my speed edge. And while in beast form, I can't spend intellect points for any reason other than to try and change to my normal form before the 1 hour duration is over. You're stuck with the duck for an hour. And in addition, you attack any and every living creature within. Within short.
We went over this.
Uh-oh. You guys might need to keep me in the bag. Before I shift, can I say, I'm gonna want to kill all of you?
Oh my.
We're gonna say your beak does 2 points of damage to the snake for this hit, and then the snake's gonna attack back. You guys hear this loud quack and a little bit of like a judder, and then you hear the snake as it attacks back. You need to make a speed defense roll. The difficulty is 4, but it's gonna be hindered by 1 step because you're in a canvas bag. Where are you gonna go to dodge it?
Okay, I have, what the heck did it say? It said I get +1 to my speed, just the pull to my speed edge, and I already have. Am I still trained in speed defense as an unthinking, violent duck?
I think probably.
Okay.
But that means you have at least an edge of 1 or not 2, right?
Yeah, just an edge of 1. Cause let's see what I got. I rolled a 9. Is that? Does it hit me?
No, your difficulty was 5 because of the hindering. It hits you for 4 points of might damage, and then you're gonna roll a might task difficulty 4 to withstand the poison.
But remember that you got 8 to your pool.
Yeah, I'm adding it all up. I'm writing it down. So I got how much? What damage was it again?
4 points of might damage for the snake biting you.
Okay, and then I have to do what for the poison?
A difficulty 4 might. Yeah, Norbin eats these all the time.
I think that's a 1.
That's a 1.
That's a 1.
You are poisoned for 5 points of damage instead of 4, plus 1 point of damage, and the poison knocks you unconscious in the bag with the snake. As your complication.
Well, that's good.
Norbin rushes into this bag, and then the quacking stops, and you all still hear the snake rattling. It's clearly about to do
not
something,
good.
but
That's
technically
not
in initiative order, if you were going to take a turn, this is where y'all would do it. So you can decide amongst yourselves.
What?
I don't know what just happened to Norbin. What do you mean? That ain't Norbin.
Gotta get him out of there. Elias will go
There we go.
in
No,
and,
no.
like, open up the bag and
Fork
try to
is gonna
pull
stop
the duck
him.
out of there.
Fork is gonna try to stop.
Elias is gonna try to use speed to
Sure.
evade.
So Fork, you're gonna roll a speed task. Elias, you're gonna roll a speed task, and we're just gonna, if you spend effort, it's plus and minus 3, but you're just trying to outroll each other.
Okay, I'm gonna spend a level of effort on this speed.
Okay, so add 3 to your roll.
Good luck.
I got a 6 total.
I got a 19 on the die.
Oh man.
Fork grabs you and stops you, and Fork, you get a minor effect for rolling a 19. What's your minor effect? Do you want to pitch me on something?
Shoot, I don't know, because it's minor, like actually beneficial, but I can't think of anything else except maybe a little intimidating. Flames shoot out of his nostrils as he grabs Elias. And he's like, listen, that ain't Norbin. What's in that bag is not Norbin.
Lars,
I don't
are you
know
gonna
what
take
it
an
is.
action?
Norbin.
Okay, so then we're going to pass around to the next round. It's a difficulty 0 to hit you because you're unconscious, so you take 4 points of might damage from the snake attacking you, and then you take another 4 points of poison damage.
It's clearly Norman in there. We gotta save him. We gotta save him.
You
He turned
hear the
into a
snake
duck.
still
I
like
don't know how.
as it like
It's-
latches into him
That,
again.
that duck is gonna die.
said-
You don't want a random,
said
even if it wasn't
eight.
Norbin, you don't want the random duck to die.
I take
Damn,
full 8
you're
points
right.
of damage. Are you saying to me, Josh?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
No!
We're down to 2, Mike. Right now.
All right, I'm like, that's convincing enough for Fork.
As the discussion rages on.
Oh yeah, I'll say Elias is gonna try to break
right.
free.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I let Elias free at this. I'm not gonna let a duck die.
As they're doing that, Lars just like goes to the bag and tries to get the duck out without the snake.
Okay, so this is going to be speed. You're trying to use your hands. It's a
I'm also casting an ability if I can.
Okay, let me set your difficulty first. Unless you're... Well, go ahead and tell me your ability.
Resonance field. Whenever a creature with an immediate range makes an attack against me, I can make an intellect defense roll in place of a defense roll I would normally make. If you do so, you get a minor effect. The creature attacking you takes 1 point of damage.
Okay. So it's a difficulty 4 speed task to get the duck out of the bag because the snake's there. but it's hindered by 1 step because the duck is unconscious, so it's like dead weight. So you're gonna have to like really like pull on it. So it's difficulty 5 speed to pull the duck out without being attacked.
Okay.
And that's a target roll of 15.
I'm fine with letting it attack me if I can just get the duck out safely.
Okay, so then just
Because
go ahead
of
and roll your
resonance
defense roll.
field.
It's going to attack
Okay.
you. You need to beat a 12. It's a difficulty 4 defense roll.
I'm also going to spend effort.
Okay. 1 level
make
of
it-
effort.
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to ease your task to a difficulty 3, target roll of 9.
Come on. Ooh, natural 20.
Natural 20, you successfully pull the duck out of the bag. Your resonance field deals +1 and then +2 more points of damage because a nat 20 is extra damage. So you deal 3 points. Go ahead.
The ability specifies. It says if you get a major effect, the creature attacking takes 4 points of damage.
Oh, okay, great.
Nice.
Then you deal 4 points of damage and yank that duck out of the bag. The snake is like not looking so good, but it's still angry and rattling and rattling around in the bag. The duck is not looking so good and is limp in your hands. It's just unconscious.
So-
It's got as his little beak hangs open, you can see a surprising amount of fangs for a duck, and that is, I guess, what has happened.
All right.
The snake is
Elias. I would say Elias is actually gonna even though previously we were all like show mercy to the snake, we have it trapped. Elias is just gonna try to stomp out the snake.
Okay, that's a might attack for sure.
Okay.
Might roll difficulty is 4 because it's a snake of
Okay.
level 4, and that's it.
Well, does he get a ease because it's in a bag and he's just stomping on the bag?
Sure, he totally can.
Great.
And in general, this is a good point for us to remind of this. In general, you pitch me on easing. I don't tell you about it. I only tell you about hindering,
Okay.
and then you tell me how the circumstances could ease it. So,
All right,
Yep.
cool.
So we'll ease it to a 3 for you.
All right.
Target roll of 9.
Keep rolling badly. That was a 7.
Okay, with a 7, you are not able to do it. It's in a bag, but it's still like rattling and jumping erratically, and so the bag just
Well-
kind of like leaps out from underneath you. You kind of stomp on
It's
nothing.
Tricky.
Fork is going to take the opportunity to keep the bag shut, most importantly. Like, draw it shut.
Okay. Maybe a speed task for that? That makes sense to me. Speed task, difficulty 4, snake's trying to get out.
I use a level of effort that I waste because I roll a 4.
Okay, you are not able to draw the bag shut in time, so the snake rushes through your arms as you're drawing it shut. It like zooms through the little gap and is loose on the floor.
Oh, son of a...
Rattling around. Has everyone? I think everyone's taken a turn now, right? So that brings us back to the snake, who's going to attack. It's going to move whatever short distance it needs to in order to attack Lars. It like rattles out because you've got the bag, and Elias was trying to stomp on it, so it's trying to get away from being stomped. And the duck is unconscious. So Lars, who is holding the unconscious duck, it's going to just leap towards your legs. It will attack you. You're going to be hindered by the fact that you're trying to hold
An
Lars
unconscious
in
duck.
place. Yeah, an unconscious duck. So it's going to be a difficulty 5. But I know
Okay.
you might use intellect.
The abilities are one-time use, right? It's not like a active effect.
If it doesn't,
usually
it should
specifies.
specify. Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, the effect lasts for 1 minute. Okay, so
So you
I
still
still
have
have
it.
resonance field.
Yep.
Yeah, I am going to spend another level of effort to make it 4. I got a 14.
Difficulty 4 is target roll 12. So the snake leaps towards you, but you succeed on your roll, and it takes 1 point of damage. Is that right? From your resonance field?
Yes.
Yeah.
1 point.
So there's like a little arcane zzz, and it kind of snaps into it. So right as its jaws would have closed over your leg, it's like repulsed backwards, and its head kind of bounces off the rock maybe and takes a little bit of damage as it lands on the ground and kind of wriggles itself back into awareness. And that is going to end the snake's turn, so the 3 of you can go.
Can I put some distance between me and the snake?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 1 turn, you can move... Oh, wait, I've got this written down here. You can... An immediate distance is negligible, so you can move an immediate distance in a turn. That's like 5 to 10 feet. You can still be reached and attacked. You can move a short distance, up to about 50 feet, as a full round action with no roll, or as part of an action with a speed roll. And then it goes up from there. So you could move up to 50 feet away from it, basically, as a full round action. And for it to catch back up and attack you, it would have to succeed on a roll before it could even take the attack.
I would like to move like 10 feet behind Fork and Elias.
So just a short, an immediate distance behind them.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And then I would like to see if I could start tending to Norbin the duck.
So you move. That is a short distance to get behind them. So if you want to take an action as well, you need to succeed on a speed task of 4.
Okay, I will attempt that speed test.
Great.
I got a 15.
15. You succeed. So you move quickly enough and whatever that you are also able to start your healing. Maybe even as you're moving, you're like looking for wounds and stuff like that. How are you trying to heal him? Like, are you using an ability? Do you have a tool you're trying to use?
I would like to recall information I read in books in prep for coming to Camp Blunder about just basic survival. So, like, what to do if someone's poisoned, what to do if someone has poison ivy, like general survival.
Sure, let's
I'd like
make
to
that
recall.
an intellect roll to recall the skills you need.
Yeah.
And then if you recall them, then we'll say that you can basically give him a recovery roll.
I got another 14.
Okay, you succeed. So, Mike, you may roll a d6, add it to your points, and you are no longer unconscious.
Uh-oh.
I didn't think about that. That's pretty funny.
Hey, Elias, I don't know how you want to handle this, but I'm about to stomp him.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking too.
All right. I go for a stomp.
Might attack.
All right, that's a difficulty 4.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go for it. I trip. I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2. Okay, you don't fall over or get hurt or whatever. The only penalty is for a 1. But you do miss. So the snake
sure,
attacks
yeah.
you, or it doesn't attack you, but like it squirms out of the way of your feet as you try and stomp
don't
on
worry.
it.
I'll get it. And
Shoot. It's Wiley.
Elias is gonna stomp as well and use a level of effort.
Okay. So that's an attack of difficulty 4, eased down to 3. Target roll is 9.
All right. 13 on the die.
13 is enough to hit it. You done stomped that snake. How much damage are you dealing?
I would assume it's 2 damage since my unarmed attack is 2 damage.
Yeah, that's fair. The snake finally falls dead and limp on the ground as you stomp it.
That was just a nasty little thing.
As it dies, you see some of some of that weird magical energy that's been pulsing along the floor and subsumes the cave. A little bit of it is kind of floating to the surface of the snake. You get the feeling that there's a cipher here to be captured if anyone wants to reach out and take it or try and identify it first.
I'm tending to duck.
Elias will bend a knee and try to identify it, and if it seems good,
Intellect
he'll probably
4.
try to take it. All right.
So difficulty of 12. Or our target
That's a
roll
6
12.
on the die.
All right, you're not sure what it does. You can still reach out and take it if you want. There's just no knowing what it might do to you.
What you looking at, Elias?
I think there's one of them sapphirs that the counselors were talking about in this snake. I can't tell what it is.
One of them knots of magic?
Yeah, can't tell what it is, but it seemed like it did good stuff for you guys, right?
I mean, it does something.
While they're talking about this, Norbin the duck is flapping
Duck
violently.
Norbin, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. I guess to restrain Norbin the duck, you'll need to roll a might roll against Norbin's might. Like, it's just power against power.
That's not good. Okay.
Norbin is a duck, so I'm going to hinder him by, like, basically
I'm a
Norbin's
werewolf duck!
roll. Yeah, but size-wise,
Oh my gosh.
So that'll give a -3 to Norbin, but otherwise you all can ease or hinder. Like you can pitch the same way you always can.
Norbin is trying to eat the snake, by the way.
No, the dead snake is
dead
like
snake.
still trying to go after it.
Lars probably wouldn't stop him from doing that.
Oh, okay. As you're bending over trying to identify this snake, the duck just swooshes in out of nowhere and I guess gobbles up the snake. Is that accurate? Is that the plan?
Elias will try to real quick like snag the cipher before the snake is gone.
Okay.
Speed.
I don't know that the duck is really trying to stop you, so I think probably you can do this. You're at it, and the duck is running. You probably hear its little flippers as it rushes toward you, wings and clacking. So yeah, you grab the cipher.
And as you kind of reach your hand through the energy tendrils that are kind of wrapped around this snake, they kind of all focus and get sucked in through your palm. And for just the briefest moment, your arm is illuminated through the veins in a purplish reddish color. And then a small tattoo appears on your forearm, and you can add a cipher of level 4 to your inventory. This cipher makes you resistant to all poisons level 4 or lower. So basically, they do not affect you. So,
Nice.
for example, if the snake were attacking you, it would still deal the 4 points of might damage, but it would deal no poison damage because it is level 4 or lower. And that effect lasts for 4 minutes because it's a level 4 cipher.
Nice.
Okay.
Duck Norbin, can you understand us?
Duck Norbin is swallowing down the snake, and then what are you doing, Duck Norbin?
It says that I attack any living creature within. If they don't stop me, I'm going to attempt to attack them. If they don't stop me, I will make an effort to change back.
Okay. So the duck rushes towards one. Who are you attacking first?
I mean, Elias would be closest to the
Yeah,
snake.
That's true.
definitely
Elias
Elias.
is right there. Okay, so you're attacking Elias. What are you going to do, Elias?
Wait, what's going on? Elias will like first just try to like kind of push the duck away, like just kind of like trying to treat it gently, but just kind of be like, hey, what are you doing? What, Norbin?
A bite at his finger.
I guess make an attack roll. So we're in PvP here, which I was like, there's no way we're going to need to worry about PvP rules. I won't even put those on my sheet. I believe PvP rolls become opposed. So
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
he
sense.
rolls an attack and you roll a defense, and then you can ease or hinder them as you're able.
I rolled a
Which
3.
for you guys will just be plus or minus 3 to your roll.
Okay. I have a speed ease with my unarmed.
Great. So add 3 to your roll.
Yeah. That'd be a 12 total on mine.
I knew this duck won't
Norbin,
Norbin.
what'd you do?
I got a 3.
You got a 3. Norbin
Yeah.
attacks but is not
Hey.
successful. Norbin
Hey.
misses. In, I guess, initiative order, it's everybody else's turn. Because Norbin
Elias
is the
is
villain in this
Elias
moment.
is gonna like try to kind of bop the duck on the head, like just like not enough to like really hurt it, but just kind of be like, hey.
Ooh, great call. So for non-lethal damage, you just say, hey, I want to do non-lethal damage. And that's it. Or if you like
Okay.
knock an NPC out, as long as you say before you roll the damage, like, hey, this is non-lethal damage, like when you hit them, that it won't count towards killing them.
Okay, non-lethal bop on the head of the duck is what Elias is going
Perfect.
for.
So that'll be a might attack and a might defense roll. Or I guess might or speed. The duck gets to choose.
Yeah. What will the duck choose?
Got a 9.
Elias got a natural 1.
No.
You try to attack the duck, you obviously fail, and you suffer a complication, which I think the one that makes the most sense here is that the duck snaps at your hand while you do that and deals
Hey.
2 points of damage,
Hey.
just like biting into you. So you take 2 points of might damage as the duck bites your hand.
Friend duck.
I told you this duck's trouble.
I mean, it's trouble.
No
I
one's-
don't know. I still think it's Norbin.
No one said it wasn't trouble.
I'm gonna jump on the duck in an attempt to just body slam it and pin it and so it can't move. Non-lethally, of course.
A huge
Okay, so that's
dragon.
sounds like a
leaping on
grapple
duck.
to me. So you can go ahead and make your might attack for that, and the duck can make a defense roll, might or speed. And you can ease or hinder if you want to pitch. Otherwise, it's just going to be roll versus flat.
I think me, being the tall and heavy person I am, should ease the fact of pinning a duck.
You're right. That should make it
You
easier.
trying to catch a duck?
The duck makes a good argument that may also hinder you. So perhaps your roll is eased and the duck's roll is eased, in which case they cancel out.
Duck rolled a 9.
Fork rolled a 13.
Okay, that's enough. You jump on the duck and pin it to the ground.
As I
Duck, you are now
feel-
restrained.
As I feel the warm embrace of the one that I was climbing all over and having such a wonderful time, I look around at my friends and I try to turn back, which it says is a difficulty 2 task.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
So it's intellect.
That's intellect 2.
Thanks God, yeah. 12.
What are we gonna do with this angry
succeed.
duck?
So Fork just leaps on top of this duck, and even as you're yelling, "What are we gonna do with this duck?" the duck turns back into Norbin.
Oh,
just
Norbin,
as
you're
painful of
back.
a transition
Wait,
back.
wait.
Just as painful.
Hey, this is important. What happened to Norbin's clothes?
Yeah,
What happened,
Norbin's fully
Norbin?
naked now. Here, I'll tell you, fully naked Norbin.
Norbin's back. Hey, what
Norbin,
happened?
Is that you underneath of me?
I think so. Is that you on top of me, Fork?
Yeah, now I'm feeling a suspicious amount of a lack of cloth-on-cloth contact.
I may have bust out of my clothes as I turned into a duck.
All right,
Did
to
you
save your
turn into a
dignity,
duck?
I'm not gonna get up for right now.
Good news is I feel full. Is that bag still here? Can I put the bag on?
Yeah. Lars will bring the bag over to
All
Norbin.
right, everybody turn away. I'm gonna roll over with my eyes closed, and you get dressed. Here, wait. I put on this leather tunic. You can take my shirt I was wearing underneath of it.
Shirt's
all
like
right?
a dress that trails on the ground for feet behind Norbin.
Full boyfriend hoodie.
So, I may not have shared something about myself.
That seems somewhat
That's very
obvious
clear.
now.
I was really hoping that it wouldn't come up for a few more nights and we got a little closer and I was going to tell you to keep me in a cabin, but sometimes 5 nights in a row a week, a month, a month, I'm sorry, a
A week
month.
seems pretty frequent.
That's a lot.
5
No,
nights in a week. You only get weekends?
2 days. I've been hiding it for a long time. No. It's 5 days a month.
Oh, 5
I'm
days
just-
a month.
I turned into a very violent were-duck.
One
you know,
work
it's
week in a month.
1 work week and 5 business days out of a month. I'm a duck.
So this will happen for 5 nights consecutively, or is it like
yeah,
spread
this is
out?
going to be the next 4 days is going to be an issue.
5
How
nights
long?
with Norbin?
Yeah.
How long are you stuck as a duck? Like, is it always the same amount of time?
It's an hour at most. If I actually feel a little unwell, if I don't eat anything, I'm a little more hindered, but it seems like I did a good job of gobbling up that god-awful snake of a snake. So now I only have a -1 penalty to rolls for an hour. So to speak.
I'm assuming you're dressed.
Yeah, I got your shirt on me.
Okay, I'm gonna open my eyes now.
You're a stinky dragon, aren't you?
Well, hey now, we all
Everybody make a speed defense
Have-
roll as a wave of magic courses up the tunnel.
Yep.
It's only when y'all get distracted. You just are very
17.
distracted.
Does this attack count as an immediate range?
No. And it's a difficulty 4. Difficulty 4. Difficulty 12.
Yeah.
Difficulty
Yeah.
4. You need to roll a 12.
I got a 4.
I
Okay.
failed it
All
again.
right, what kind of damage?
1 point of shadow/malice damage.
Okay,
Ouch.
now how does armor work in? Does it absorb damage?
Armor absorbs damage, but not ambient damage.
Is that to might then?
Yes,
Push
that's to
start.
might.
Yeah.
Okay.
Armor in Cypher is very limited. It only affects might damage that you suffer from an attack.
Sweet,
I
sweet,
don't
All
think it's
right.
worth it personally. I just wear this cloak.
I could use a rest now.
Well, you
Yeah, we
you didn't
all
use your
could.
1 moment, right? So you can use
I
your
did not.
momentary. So you can use. It's just a 5 to 10 second rest for you. Your first
Yeah.
recovery roll is just 1 action.
Okay.
Roll a d6 and add. You can split those points however you like across your pools. You just roll a d6
Okay.
and add it.
Yeah.
Well,
And for
I've
some
used
characters,
my-
it's D6 plus 1.
I've
Mine's
used my
1d6
10
plus
minutes
2. I don't know why
and
it says plus 2.
Yeah, I would also need an hour if I wanted to heal again.
Well, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, Norbin, I will say, I appreciate you being honest with us now. I would have wished that you would have been honest about this.
Yeah, if we could just
Before.
have like a big truth circle for an hour and like we all just talk about
I mean, yeah,
our
that's actually-
feelings and
that's
it'll
not a
give
bad
my
idea.
stomach time to settle and all of
Yeah.
us will not hate me forever because I may have caused us a lot of trouble as a duck.
Norbin, us dragon folk, we have a thing. I'm having a really hard time understanding you because
Yeah.
we don't lie.
Yeah.
I mean, Norbin never lied. He just
He just
Did he
admitted
tell
his
us?
Thank you. Thank
I
you,
mean,
Eli.
to be completely
Lars.
fair.
I
I
don't.
haven't-
Hey, Don't defend him. When I put him down, and I said, "Don't jump in that hole," he said, "Okay." He immediately jumped in that hole. That was a lie.
That's just Norbin.
Fork, I don't want this to come between us, okay? Look, you guys are really special to me. My parents would not let me come to this camp. They were very adamant. They said, Norbin.
How did you get here then?
I walked 200 miles to this camp without my parents' consent because it was several days. I was a duck for a few of them. And I got here and I said, I'm not going to let my natural curse and inabilities prevent me from finally making the friends that I deserve. And I thought you guys would be those guys, and I'm really sorry to keep this from you, but I just want us to get through this and to be as close as buds could be and find that gosh darn really cool thing that keeps hurting us periodically when we talk too much. Is that too much to ask?
Norbin, did you tell your parents you came here? Like, leave a note?
Of course not. I walked 200 miles. Do you think I would have done that if I had told my parents they would have made it?
Elias will go up to Norbin and kind of sit next to him and kind of pat his back and kind of rub his back and be like, it's all right.
He's like hiding in the shirt now. He's like kind of fully in. You see,
Fork is gonna give him a bear hug.
We're doing a group hug.
Okay, everybody take 1 XP for great roleplay and participating in the scene.
Norbin, you're not the only one here that hasn't talked about how they got here. You know, I haven't told you guys really anything about me. I just kind of showed up. You know, my story isn't quite as I don't know, tragic as yours, Norbin, but I haven't been fully honest either. I come from a tribe that we walk in nature, we commune with nature, but there's a point where you have to make your own way. You know, you have to leave the tribe and go and achieve something, and come back with proof that you've done something, and you prove that you're a worthy member, and then you're considered a grown up, you know. And so I wandered off on my journey, and I found you all, and now with us trying to find this artifact, I think maybe that could be not the artifact itself, but some sort of magic associated with the artifact I could bring back to my tribe and show that I'm ready to be a grown up.
Well,
but not before summer's over.
Not before summer's over.
Thank God.
I agree.
Thank you.
I wanna spend it with you guys.
Elias, I appreciate coming out about the truth. I was keeping an eye on you when you first showed up, because
I know.
You were a little bit strange, but
I admit that.
That explains your big aversion to the whole roots, and now I feel a little like I've offended your cultural sensibilities, and
it's okay. I know it's unique to us, I know that that's not something that everyone shares.
But I'll try to be a little better about it.
I appreciate that.
I will say, I think in some regards we share that respect of nature. I would say, I don't have the full, we're gonna have to, sometimes things have to be done. That's just how I see things. But you know what? I'll try to open my mind a little bit and be a little bit more perceptive of how you see things.
I appreciate that, and
That's
I'll
awesome.
try to open my mind too. And Lars, I know we're kind of having this heart to heart, and I know you need to rest, but I love hearing your perspective on these kind of things.
This is wonderful. It's very obvious that this is not my usual lifestyle, and despite what people think of me and my upbringing, I never really had any friends or people to hang out with. It was always studying, training. I mean, I had the staff, and they were always very kind and parents, very loving. Like I told them I wanted to come here, and they were very encouraging. But all the other kids look at me differently. They see everything and they just want the stuff. And I've never been on a real adventure, so this is fun.
I'm not gonna lie, Lars. You've proven yourself more capable than I thought you were before we walked out into them woods.
I'm glad.
I'm glad you proved me wrong.
Let's all give one more big ol' hug around Norbin, huh? Everyone, come come down here. Come on.
All right.
Of course, Norbin.
Or you can pick me up and hold me in the middle, and we can all hug that way.
Yeah.
Not because it's another hug, but because you advanced into like, oh, it's like a forgiveness for wrong state. Everybody have another XP.
Aww.
So something that is sort of flavor, sort of gameplay. Elias only needs another 10-minute rest because one of his elvish benefits is that he has 2 10-minute rests before he has to shift to an hour rest.
Oh, cool.
So if we are staying for an hour, Elias will rest for 10 minutes and then keep watch and kind of be stealthy around the outskirts and make sure nothing sneaks up on him during the last 50 minutes, if that makes sense.
Nice. Also, just because now we're giving out more XP and I'm thinking about it, the 1 XP things are re-roll any roll, and you can stack them, so you can keep re-rolling as long as you keep spending a new XP. You can refuse a GM intrusion, so sometimes I come in with a complication and you go, nah. Not the natural ones, but the ones that are not nat ones, you can refuse. And you can create a player intrusion, which is like what Mike suggested, and then depending on if it's immediate, short-term, or long-term, it will cost more XP for a player intrusion. So that's
now,
those pieces.
does saving XP eventually result in a level up, or are they not related?
You spend XP to level up. If you look on your character sheet, if you look on your character sheet, you should see some advancement options, I believe they're called, and each of those costs 4 XP. So you have to buy all 4 of them, and then you advance to the next tier of power. But in the meantime, each of them is an improvement. So like one of them is plus 4 points that you can divide among your stat pools. One of them is plus 1 to one of your edges. One is plus 1 to your effort score, so you can apply another level of effort beyond what your character can normally do. One of them is plus 1 skill other than attacking and defense, which you need to justify narratively. Like, my character has been in this cave a long time. He's getting really good at navigating in the dark and using his hearing, or whatever. And then there's also an other, which you can spend on like something you can pitch that's like a moderate improvement to your character, basically. And there are some examples in the Cypher SRD, which I'm not going to read out because they're not on my sheet, so I don't have them to read out.
Cool.
But yeah, so XP is really powerful in the Cypher system.
Great.
You can do a lot with it. And as your hour comes to a close and you're not particularly damaged during it, as long as you're resting, you're not really distracted from like, those pulses of magic that we've already timed, so you can easily dodge those problems. At the end of your hour, if any of you were to peek around the corner, you would see that you are just about at the end of this tunnel, and that ahead of you is a kind of glowy, like dimly lit room in swirls of color. It's almost like foggy in there, and the mist is kind of a swirling mixture of blue and red with just a little hint of darkness in the middle, where you've heard the phrase, and you've probably even seen out in the wilderness like a silver lining in the clouds where like light is peeking through. This is like the opposite. It's like a void. It's just a single tendril that kind of runs through the mist, spiraling. And at the center of it is something laying flat on the ground, some object, but you can't quite make out through the mist. You can't quite make out what the details of it are. It seems like it's, approximately the size of like Fork's torso in terms of like scale. And it's relatively flat, and that's really all that you can figure out from where you are.
Does the mist look harmful?
The mist looks the same as the little pulses of magic, and actually you can see as it's swirling every now and then a little tendril of it wisps off into those tunnels on the floor and kind of like zooms down as the pulse of magical energy.
I'm gonna... Can I make an intellect roll to like determine if it's safe to go into the be in contact with the mist, or if the mist is gonna immediately start hurting us?
You can. if this is not your scan ability, the difficulty is going to be a difficulty 6, which means your target roll is an 18.
Okay. I'm gonna spend the points for scan.
What do you see, Lars, with your gentle eyes?
Lars looks towards the mist, and you begin to discern the types of energy in the room, which, just like you probably expected, are cold and heat and sort of like a darkness or a malignance in that one black tendril. You also are able to begin I think it tells you like just what the objects are that's in the room, right? Or does it only tell you the materials of the objects?
Scanning a creature object always reveals its level. You also learn whatever facts the GM feels are pertinent about the matter and energy in that area. You might learn that a wooden box contains a device of metal and plastic. You might learn that glass cylinders full of poisonous gas.
Great.
Yeah.
So this little swirling area of the tunnel system, it's containing magical energy that is leaking from the item on the ground. You don't know exactly what the item is, but you are confident that it has metal and wood in its construction, and that it is some kind of complex object, which is to say, I believe there's more than one piece that could be separated. So perhaps, although you can't discern this from here, it's not unreasonable to assume that maybe one of the pieces is a heat piece, and one of the pieces is a cold piece, and one of the pieces is a malignance or a darkness piece. And it's level 6, the item that you're looking at. It's an artifact that is level 6.
It appears to be an object that has come apart or separated, broken, if you will. And the pieces are separated by elements. So you have a cold piece, a hot piece, and a dark piece, which is radiating the energies.
Norbin, hold on. And I'm just tired. If I'm gonna be honest, I want to go and get some sleep. And Fork just walks up and just finds whatever looks like the spiciest bit and grabs it.
As you step through the tendrils, you take ambient damage. You take 2 points of cold, 2 points of warm, 1 point of shadow to your might pool. And then you get to the center, and there, laying on the ground at your feet, is an X-shaped sheath meant to be worn on the back with harnesses that go across your chest. There is some sigil you don't recognize on it, some anvil and rod-looking sigil, and the 2 swords that are anchored in this sheath. One of them has tracing lines of icy energy rippling up it, and the other one has tracing lines of burning energy racing up it. The malignance itself, you're not sure where that's coming from. Maybe it suffuses the entire object. But as you're looking at it, you briefly flash back to hearing that rumor.
And then I heard that there was like this great battle that happened on this mountain, like in history, right? This great battle where this horrifying swordswoman like attacked all these monks, and there was this fight, and she had like it was crazy, right? And she was killed in the fight because someone kicked her right off of the mountain, and she fell, and maybe it was her sword that like fell and had all this effect. And it boom, flashes back to where you are, and in front of you must be this person's sword, if that rumor is true. You are looking down at it, and as you lift it up, you see some runes written in Elvish, or really the kind of drow version of Elvish. It's a little bit rougher and a slightly different dialect. Do you speak Elvish? Is there any reason why you'd know what they mean? Then you have no idea what they say.
All right. Now, Norbin, sorry to drag you through that.
All right, I'll take that damage. I was okay.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were there too. Yep,
God.
Norbin, you also suffer that damage.
I'm happy to be here. I'm pretty tired.
Are you gonna pick the artifact up?
All right, Norbin, I'm going to set you down
In fact, I'm going to take this opportunity before you move further to tell you a little bit about artifacts in the Cypher system. Before you make this decision on whether to pick it up or not. Artifacts are degradable, so they have a rate of power depletion and eventually expire. But also, artifacts must be identified before they can be used. And unlike a Cypher, picking up a Cypher that you have not identified just means like if it's a consumable immediately, it's just going to affect you. Otherwise, you get it, and then you have a chance to learn about it again. When you pick up an artifact, it could do stuff to you. You could use it wrong and cause yourself damage. So like identifying an artifact is a really big deal. And also you can attempt to use an artifact you have not identified. So if you wrap it up and carry it really carefully and try not to like come into skin contact with it or whatever, you can make an intellect roll to try and use an artifact in combat, even if you don't know what it does. It's just pretty difficult. It's like the level +2. So in this case, that would be a difficulty 8, which is a 24 that you would need to roll.
I did it. My intention was to dump out the contents of my pack and then try to just gingerly.
Okay, your stuff and
Scoop it up.
Norbin's stuff goes piling onto the ground as you dump out the contents of your pack this time. Or is it Lars's?
Lars,
Someone's
it's
stuff.
Lars'
Lars's stuff goes piling out onto the ground. And then you said you're going to try and pick up the sword with the bag.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like scoop it up.
Okay, well, your canvas pack, your branded camper's canvas pack, is nowhere near big enough to hold an X sheath for a full-grown humanoid. But you could probably grab like the tip of one of the sheaths in the canvas pack. Like this canvas pack is for like kids. It's like for campers.
Oh, true.
Remember, you're like 14, despite the fact that you picked the voice of a 70-year-old. So you.
This is a voice of a dragon folk.
And this is the voice of a really mature.
We just naturally have deep gravelly voice.
This is like those cinch bags, that have like sports company logos on them. That's basically what you have.
All right, I'm gonna use it like a hilt then, and just so I can hold on to an edge of a sheath, and kind of like a crucifix, hold it away from my body.
Sure. You do that, and as you pick it up, you briefly hear in the back of your mind a little, kill him. But you don't feel any effect. It's just a voice, and then it fades. You're like, that's not right. That's weird. And as you move it further from your head, you like don't hear any more influence from it.
Fork pulls it a little closer to his head, just to see if he hears that voice again. All right, nope. We're gonna hold that away from everybody. Does the magic effect disappear from the room?
As you pick it up, the magic effect begins swirling centered on you. You get the sense that if you were to like identify and properly attune to this object, you might be able to contain that leaking magic.
This isn't really my shtick, and I'm not one to use blades. So,
Am I able to identify it?
You could certainly try.
Okay, what do I gotta
to identify a cipher, you need to, or to identify an artifact or cipher, you need to roll an intellect of the cipher's level. Or the artifact in this case. Sorry, I'm getting the words confused. Intellect of the artifact's level. So an intellect difficulty 6, which means your target roll is an 18, though, as usual, you can pitch me on ways to ease the task.
Can being a gnome and kind of a tinkerer and mildly more knowledgeable potentially about like magic stuff or just like cool tools, can I get a better sense of this thing easier?
Sure. I'll ease it by one step for that. That makes sense.
Right. Sweet. Okay, great.
You can also, as always, apply effort if you wish.
I think I would put in effort, and I have an edge of 1, so that would only be 2, correct?
Yep, so you're only spending 2 points on your first level of effort.
Is this down to 12 then?
So it was a 6, now it's a 4. Difficulty, target roll is 12.
Okay.
Chat, thanks for bearing with us as we learn all the rules here.
I'm going to use an XP to reroll that.
Okay.
Please.
That's what they're for, man.
Down into the tower, please. One's so bad. Oh my god, it fell so far out. No, please. God.
While he struggles with that, I will also point out that it explicitly says in the Cypher System rulebook that the idea of the system is that technically a tier 1 and a tier 6 character can be the same like level of power. It's not like you're really missing out on much if you're just spending your XP on other things. So you don't need to necessarily hoard your XP or spend all of it at once. Like it should balance out just in the way the game is played. What'd you get, Mike?
The first one was a 2. The second was a 14.
14. That is enough to beat a 12. As you look down at this artifact, you identify that the Elvish writing, even though you are not Elvish and you probably don't speak it, you've probably seen enough like magical items and things from your village that you have like a rough sense of the language. This is someone's name written on the item. So this is like an item either crafted by or for a specific individual. You also identified that one of these swords is a frost blade and one of them is a flame blade. They are meant to be used as a pair, and by identifying them and understanding how they work, if you wish, you may attune to them, because what the were-duck needs is to be attuned to a level 6 frost blade and flame blade. We're going to get into cipher system rules again here. The depletion die of this item is a d20. That means every time you activate its ability, so turn on the fire or turn on the ice, you roll a d20, and if you roll a 1, then this is the last time the item functions, and after that it becomes dead in the water. Level 6, depletion die is a d20, and you can attune to it, and the attunement is at this point just a choice for you. Like your intellect is identifying how, so you can decide if you're gonna do it or not. You can also, if you choose, tell anybody else about it, but if they do, they're gonna need to roll an intellect roll, and it will be eased because you helped them by teaching them how it works.
Good.
What's it looking like? Is that Elvish on the sheath?
It's looking really cool, guys. So it's an ice blade and a fire blade, and they were owned by somebody. I'm not really sure who, but there's a name on here.
Is it okay if I know Elvish? I mean, that's what I mainly speak.
Yeah, take a peek. Take a peek. Bud.
What's the name?
Mavira.
It says Mavira. That must be the name. Mavira.
Josh,
That's an interesting name.
It is.
but is that is she like common knowledge in any like history books that I would have read?
Probably not.
Okay.
Her whole
name
shtick
wouldn't
was
have come-
secrecy.
Okay.
Never heard of it. Sounds kind of foreboding, but never heard of it.
Well, they're really strong, and someone could take them.
Well, I will say I heard some concerning whispers coming from those blades.
Whispers.
I'm not particularly adept with weapons or swords, so I think someone else should take them. I don't want them.
I am an enjoyer of weapons, personally. I enjoy hunting. That is a thing that I do for sustenance, of course, not for sport.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a little too big for me.
I mean, I don't want to step on anyone's toes or anything, but they would also
I mainly use
work well
what
for me to take them back
the
to
gods gave me. Okay, so it sounds like Elias, you're the only one with a foothold on this.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that. It's something I could take back to my tribe for my initiation, so to speak. So
Absolutely.
as long as no one else has any claim on it, I would love to have a chance at seeing if I could utilize this.
Elias,
call
this
it
is
yours.
an intellect roll with a difficulty of 5. The task has been eased by 1 step for you from a 6 because
Okay.
it's been explained. Like the artifact has been explained.
All right, I'm going to apply a level of effort to bring it down to a 3 in that case. Is that correct?
4.
1 level of effort would go from a 5 to a 4. 2
5
levels
to a
of
4.
effort
It
would
was
bring
a
it to a 3.
It was a 6, then it was a 5, now it's a 4?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, now it's a 4.
All right, so your target roll is 12.
Target roll is 12.
You can always use
don't
XP to re-roll.
fail me now. That is true. I got a 13.
Woo!
Everything goes silent as you lift up the sheath, you focus on it, and you hear those voices. Who would wield this? Oh, this could work. And then there's quiet in the back of your mind. All of the leaking energy that was coming out of the sword swirls backwards, almost like time has been reversed on it. The vortex reverses direction and like it gets sucked up into the blades that you're holding, and you can strap it onto your back. And on that note, tonight's adventure at the Winged Badger Tavern
comes to a close.
Yeah.
And we will figure out what happens next, what repercussions there are, if any, on a future adventure.
Wow.
Now wait. Fork does have a question.
Okay.
I just figured I'm only asking now as we're live because I figure this is learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we do want to spend that XP.
Yeah.
You said it's 4 XP per an advancement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we have to do a long rest or equivalent thereof?
As I understand it, no. My understanding is that you can spend your XP out of combat. It will just take effect. I believe in combat, the round you spend your XP, like that is your action. Is it's like going Super Saiyan, and the next round the thing takes effect.
Now,
I believe the full tier upgrade needs to happen between sessions. So each of the
Gotcha.
4 advancements, I believe, can take effect as an action. But when you've spent all 4 and it's like, hey, I'm now a tier 2 character, that has to happen between sessions, I think.
my second and last question for the night is, do we get any XP for...
You sure do.
Yeah,
Each of you get
see?
2 XP.
Oh yeah.
This is why I forecast.
I'm gonna tell an interesting thing about XP here. You have gained 2 XP because you have taken a step on an arc. Now, in the full Cypher system, when we play our full game, every character can have really an infinite number of character arcs, but you can start one of them for free. After that, you have to pay to start them. Like, it costs an XP to start an arc. And then every time you take a step on your character's journey, you gain XP for that. 2 XP per step, which is evaluated at the end of a session. But in addition to character journeys, there's also party journeys, which is what you're on right now, a party journey. And there are campaign journeys. So a campaign journey might be something like, stop the big bad, and then all of your individual quests to stop the big bad, to like get the McGuffin and raise the one dude from the dead, and all of those would be steps on the campaign arc. So if you invest in developing your character and focusing on the narrative, you get exponentially more experience points than you can any other way, because you get 2 and then 2. So that would be 4 per session if you had taken just that one step in the session. So that's something to think about. Growth in that journey is evaluated at the end of the session. So when we end each session in our main campaign, before we go off the air, we're going to say, hey, did anybody feel like they advanced on their character journey tonight? And you're going to justify to the group if you did. And if the group agrees, then you're going to get the XP and you're going to progress down that journey. So that's it. That's how it works. So yeah, XP pretty cool. XP pretty good in a Cypher system. Anybody else have questions about rules we used tonight, or anything that we need to research further or figure out? I made a note for myself to figure out how players actually heal each other when they're not using ciphers or artifacts, because I actually don't know. I think it worked fine tonight, but I'd like to figure out the actual way. Mm-hmm. Anything else we're foggy on?
I thought it was good.
No. I did want to mention, I did see the PC combat. I found that section. It's basically how we did it. It's just contesting roles.
Yeah. The PC combat I was pretty confident in it took me a second to get there, but then I was like, oh yeah, I've read this. So yeah. All right. Well, good game tonight, everybody. Thanks for being here. Next Monday, there was a chance that Jake couldn't make it. Jake, do we know if you're going to make it?
Let me check my calendar again real quick.
Okay.
Real quick, like.
Assuming Jake can make it, we're going to finish this adventure and evaluate the Cypher system next Monday. If not, we're going to evaluate Jake for an hour and a half next Monday and then finish the adventure.
Evaluate me for an hour and a half next Monday. I will not be able to make it.
Okay, so we'll just talk about the Cypher system, how it's going, stuff we're learning, things we like and don't like, whatever that. It'll be a tavern talk next week, and then the week after we'll wrap up this adventure.
Yeah.
So yeah, until then, from all of us here at the Winged Badger Tavern, GG's.